a feeling, and it's filled by memories shared with you. It doesn't matter if our love is shattered. Every moment is a new beginning. You made me come alive, and I'll be waiting till you come back again. Because I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you.
Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is?
Helpless, and the walls are caving in. Can't breathe now, losing my sanity. I'm calling, shouting out your name. I'm calling.
Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is?
Your silhouette out of the corner of my eye, out of the corner of my eye. Your silhouette out of the corner of my eye, out of the corner of my eye.
Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is? Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need?
I'm talking into action, laughing and joking. You know my door's always open. There's many different patterns. Pick the one that's everlasting. I'll always be around when you're feeling down. Take my hand and you'll find out. 'Cause I can't let you go and let you walk away if I can't tell you why I've been feeling this way lately. You say you don't know if I can hold you down. I'll let you find out. I guess we'll find out. Let's find out. Oh, if I don't get to say, I was hoping maybe you're feeling the same way as I do. You've been on my mind. There's no way ignite this passion. Everything that you imagine can come true if you abandon all your fears. Tensions rising. Who's to know what are the right things to do when the feeling inside takes over you? 'Cause I can't let you go and let you walk away if I can't tell you why I've been feeling this way lately. You say you don't know if I can hold you down. I'll let you find out. I guess we'll find out. Let's find out. Oh, if I don't get to say, I was hoping maybe you're feeling the same way as I do. You've been on my mind. There's no way
Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by our fantastic friends over at Brisk and 7-Eleven. Now, we're continuing to pioneer the way in 2v2 Rocket League this year, with some of North America's best players taking on some of Europe's best as they fight it out for a prize pool of $100,000. Now, just to remind you all, we are bigger and better than last year. Of course we are. And we've got double the amount of broadcasts that are going to be coming your way, starting with the online qualifiers here in London before we move over the pond to North America for the regional finals. Now, my name is Onse. I'll be your desk host once again. And look at these two gentlemen. They're back. They're better than they were yesterday. I'm not going to lie. They're pretty hyped for today because it's all about survival today. We're going to see some teams going home, gentlemen.
Yeah, Elimination Day, always exciting. I mean, there's a lot on the line. You have one chance left, and you can't afford to waste it.
Yeah, you've got to go for a run at this point because there is an awful lot of work to do. Any more losses, you are done. You are out of the tournament. Obviously, the teams that are still in the upper bracket, they don't have to play today. They have got the day off. They can actually sit here. They can scout the competition and see who they're going to be playing in the next round should they lose in the upper bracket, but they'll be here tomorrow.
Well, we also always love to have you guys at home involved as well. So make sure you use that hashtag UOS2 so you can get involved. Tell us who you think is going to survive today. As we say, all about elimination today. Tell us who you think is going to go through and qualify out of the Northeast section as well, because that's what it's all about today, gentlemen. Now, let's have a look at the format for Season 2 of the Universal Open presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven to keep you guys up to date on exactly how things are going to work. And here we go. We've already had the East closed qualifiers last week. Now we're in the middle of the Northeast closed qualifiers. Then we have the Central and West. The top four from all of those North American regions will move over to the regional finals, starting with Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. The top four from Europe will join those guys from the online section of the tournament to join them in our grand finals at the end there in Stamford, Connecticut. 8 teams, August 24th to 28th. If you're wondering what you're going to be doing on those dates, you're either going to be there or you're going to be watching. Now let's have a Brisk bracket update and keep you abreast of all the action that's been going on, because it's been a busy day one. It's going to be a busy day two as well. You can see some of the games that have already happened. You can see in our upper bracket there, one game away from qualification, our Word and Hawk Cat E games, FlyQuest and Go Station. But as we mentioned, today is all about that lower bracket. And as you can see there, some of those teams that are still left in the tournament. Now, let's have a look at the fixtures for today. Let's have a look at exactly the action that we are going to be bringing you guys at home. Start off, gentlemen, with First In Flight versus Blue Angels. Two teams that we did not see yesterday.
We saw First In Flight.
We did, sorry, apologies. We did see First In Flight, but one of the teams we didn't see yesterday, but we are going to see them today. What can we expect from them?
Well, First In Flight had a pretty rough go yesterday. They had to play Go Station, which is Lethamyr in memory. So, they'll get to show us a bit more of what they can do instead of having to, play defense all day. So hopefully they'll have a better show here.
Yeah, we came out of that game yesterday very critical of First In Flight, and that's because they just didn't play to the level that we know they can. Obviously, this is an opportunity for them to really step up, whilst on the other side, Speedy Sloths, another names that we're not too sure on. Obviously, they've got to this point. They've done well to get here. They've got to win under their belt, so we're not going to see any 0-2s from them. That's a very important deal to a lot of players out there. Now is their opportunity to try and capitalize on that.
Well, it's going to be a very stressful day for a lot of these players, but a very rewarding one at the same time. Now, something for you guys at home to keep an eye out for, as always, is our Brisk Dual Force Achievement Unlock. Now, this will be given to any player who scores 7 goals and makes 11 saves during the series. You can see it flashing below us here. Absolutely beautiful looking graphic, that one. Big fan
You
of
won.
that one.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Look, I'm doing my best here. But yeah, it's a fantastic thing. So keep your eye out for that. We'll be looking to give that away. None away yesterday, but I feel like today could well be the day. Now, on a slightly more serious note, of course, we have to talk about something fantastic that we're doing during these broadcasts, thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent, and that is the fight against world hunger. Now, for every single goal that is scored during these broadcasts, Soylent will donate 10 meals to the World Food Program in the USA. Now, if you guys at home want to get involved as well, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open, and you can get involved in what is a fantastic cause. Now, yesterday we had a lot of goals. We gave away a lot of meals, and it was a fantastic day as far as that Soylent cause was concerned.
Yeah, around
94, I think it was.
Yeah, insane number, which beat day 1 of last week. So good stuff. And it actually beat out day 3 as well, which
I think it was
of the
even
week before.
with day 3
Was
of
it?
last week.
I thought that was like 80-some. I don't know.
I
there
think
was a ton of goals.
There's a definite correlation between Shogun's rule and the amount that was scored
No
yesterday,
mercy.
which is No mercy.
No mercy.
If you're playing today and you're getting that win, no
Smash
mercy.
'em.
Smash them. It's as simple as that. But let's talk a little bit more about our game number 1 before we do get underway. First in Flight yesterday, obviously knocked down to our losers bracket. They had a tough game. They had a tough game, but at the same time, they were playing against some of the best players that we have in this region. So, you know, they had the potential and the opportunity to learn a lot from that game, and they could bring that into today.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing Blue Angels, I believe, so Rox and B. Hollis. Two guys, no idea. It's just more chances for the community. That's kind of the interesting thing when you get the Universal Open. You break it down by regions. You get a lot of people who you wouldn't normally see if you just did one massive open qualifier, because then you'd end up with, 16 teams that everybody knows who they are. So when you break it down by region, you really get to see some of the talent that you would almost never get a chance to see, which is always interesting.
It's going to be very good for them to start being able to build up. I mean, these are all teams now that we get to look at some of these names and just go, okay, we've now got you in the sights. A couple of decent results here, and then you definitely become a team or player to watch out for if you've really got those performances going for you. So it's a good opportunity for them. On the other side, First in Flight, we've got to see something more. They were very poor on stream yesterday. They've got to play better if they want to keep going. Yeah, 3 goals. Yes, they had a difficult opponent, but they never really stepped up and gave themselves a chance to even win it. So I want to see something more from them today. I want to see a more positive game style.
Well, let's hope that we do see that, because as we remind everyone at home in the North-East Closed Qualifier, that if you lose today, that's it, I'm afraid for you. You're out of the tournament. You're not going to make it to regionals, and you're not going to be one of those 4 qualifying teams that gets through to those regionals. So we'll keep an eye on those. And I mean, looking at that lower bracket today, we've seen all the teams that are in there. I mean, who do you think could fight their way through to still be in with a shout of qualifying tomorrow?
Well, I thought Oxygen had a pretty good chance, but we're not sure if they're going to make it today. I still think First in Flight have a pretty okay chance as we move on into game number 1, Shogun. Curious about Gino Cop and Donnie, their team. Those are my 3 big ones.
Should be able to make a decent run of this tournament. However, they're not the ones that we are too worried about at this point in time. It's First in Flight looking to try and bounce back from yesterday's game, and there's going to be no bouncing back there. Demo completely removing Sharif from the game, at least for a momentary second. Rock's trying to nail something. I don't think he ever really got the wave dash to go onto his side. Very even start to this game. But for Blue Angels, the main thing for us right now, especially as broadcasters, we're looking out to see just how well they've got the fundamentals of Rocket League down, just how well their positioning is going to be. And so far, it's looking pretty solid. I'm not seeing anything glaring happening from their side. I feel as this could be an opportunity to set up, and there's going to be the commit.
Yeah,
always so dangerous when you send 2 forward for that.
Yeah, you absolutely did hit the nail on the head, though. It is very much a test. Since, I mean, we don't know almost anything about Rox and Hollis. It's really just, all right, this is your real test of fundamentals before they play some stiff competition, because as we mentioned yesterday, Sharif and Coleman are longtime members of the Rocket League community, and while they may not be at the top of their game that we're used to seeing out of them anymore, they're still very formidable opponents, and you can't afford to take them lightly.
Well, I believe they've already had more offense in this game than in the entire match that they had yesterday. Trying to push that ball forward. It's going to be Coleman by himself. Shot shouldn't really test him too much. Got to really find the upper corners of the field. Although Coleman beats that ball, Sharif will be by himself. Takes the ball under his own control.
Ooh, nice cut.
And then there is the dancing feet of Sharif. Can't quite turn it into the back of the net. But he has been noticed as a one specialist. And he's going to have to be respected as such. Every time he gets that ball under his own control, he can be so dangerous. Or he can just lever that one into the middle of the net.
Nice setup here by Coleman. He takes it just around Rox, and then don't think he has the boost to really do anything. Yeah, he's just trying to get that ball out. Definitely saying, I'm going to need a little bit of help here. Sharif playing really close. Very risky play. Did pay off, though. The nice aggressive push from Sharif at the end.
Well, for First In, that is the perfect start for them. Only managed 3 goals on stream yesterday. They've already got themselves a little bit closer to not having to deal with that scoreline. Sharif takes his time.
Was Sharif in the Dominus yesterday? I think he was in the Octane.
I believe he was Octane pretty much all day. And there is going to be Coleman with the goal. But Sharif's 12 Titans qualifier was in the Dominus, I believe. That was when he had his best run I've ever seen from him. So hopefully he's trying to re-establish that, maybe get back into the same mindset.
Always interesting. There's really not too many differences between the cars, but one thing a lot of players will always cite between the cars is you tend to really be able to get some strong power behind the ball in the Dominus. That's a big whiff, and Hollis put it off the post.
Oh, wow.
Ouch.
Okay, so the complete lack of any contact on the ball from First In was bad. The inability to turn that ball in when you are 2 goals down,
Really bad.
that's worse.
Feels super bad, man.
There's some psychological games coming out from first in, knowing that potential was there for missing, and just saying, you won't. And as we have mentioned to you before, Achieves, what are the rules when you say you won't?
You must.
You must. Sharif will turn that in for a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, it's a pretty comfortable game, number 1, I think, for Coleman A and Sharif. It's good for them to get it a little bit going here. Hollis, I think he kind of might have played himself there a little bit, maybe even lost track of where he was on the pitch exactly. I know I've done that a few times. You think you have a bit more space to work with. You think you're at the top of the box when, in fact, you're right in the middle of it and just ends up riding up the wall and coming off the post. Gives himself no chance at that last one.
Sharif wants to keep that play going. Coleman leaves it a little bit too long, and Rox can move himself in, pick up the first goal for Blue Angels.
Let's take another look at this. It's a clean win. And, yeah, Coleman just thinks he has time to grab the boost, and that is a fatal error. That's even something that happens in ones all the time. It's like you think you've got time to go grab the boost when the ball's on the left-hand side, and they'll just smash it right in the net.
That could be making it 3-2.
Oh, he
what
made
a
it.
save, Sharif. Causes his own problems, but when you fix them yourself, they're not problems at all.
I don't know. I still think they're problems, but it's it is a great fix. But not that time. Rox comes off the side wall, steals it off his hood, and throws it into the net.
And this is big for Blue Angels. They look like they were a team that were down and out, but mispositioning from first in means that they give that ball away. This is a 1-goal game at this point. Blue Angels riding the momentum. And for first in, I want to see them just take control of this ball and figure out what they're trying to do with it, because they're handing away too many light goals.
You know, what's really unfortunate is if this ends up being the final scoreline, they're going to remember that breakaway chance that they missed.
Rox just over the top. Coleman will be by himself just for a second. Can't follow this up. Hollis did not really want to have anything to do with that ball, and that is a moment of hesitation that will cost them. They had to stay on the offensive.
Yeah, interesting choice there from Rox as well. He got the boost stolen away from him in the midfield, and right here it's a weird cut in the middle of the net. Not entirely sure what he was looking at. Maybe he saw Sharif. If you don't have spectator ball cam force on, he might have been seeing Sharif come out of the corner and just tried to dodge the demo. Just ended up conceding the goal, though, unfortunately.
Well, the deficit has been reopened. Blue Angels, 2 goals down. They've got just over a minute to try and force this game back and maybe force some overtime. That is a good pass, but Hollis was already turning around. No point of a pass if your teammate does not believe in it.
Ooh, no boost. Dangerous.
Coleman back over to the side. Now Hollis, he's got to try and avoid some demo and bump attempts. The shot was just a little bit too wide. Now Rox, the other side of the field. First touch way too heavy. Will not be able to create too much. Instead, it's pressure still on. Rox is there first. 1-goal game. 38 seconds left.
That's actually the hat trick for Rox as well. He's gotten himself in good form here in game 1. Well, Hollis actually got a double touch there as that went around the corner. Took a second little skip right off his car, gave it some extra power behind it, and that might have caught Coleman off guard a little bit in the net.
3 goals to one of the teammates. 3 saves to the other, but neither of them have really been able to settle down anywhere else. Neither have they been able to settle down when they get the game nice and close.
You said no mercy, Shogun. You're getting it. It's, what, 8 goals?
8 goals, and there's still 31 seconds to keep that ramping up. For first in, this is not the clinical display that they would have wanted, but it is still looking like it's going to be a victory unless Blue Angels can show something up nice and quick. But being beat to that ball means Sharif can take the shot. Nice save. Keeps Blue Angels in the game. Coleman wins the challenge, and low boost on Rox is going to make life incredibly difficult, and Sharif, he smelt that one. Keeps moving forward, 10 seconds left. Hollis forces the challenge, and Rox still low boost. He's just getting back into the play. That is going to be the end of the game. 2 goals looking like it could be the difference. Maybe we could have got 1 more. Sharif going to try and take it the entire way. What a flick that is. He's got 1 more, but the 0-second hero will not happen. And for these 2 teams, there is plenty to improve heading into this next game.
Yeah, Onset, I've really felt like both teams allowed in a lot of goals they really shouldn't have. There was a couple of chances on both teams where that was kind of I don't know how you managed to let that one in, but I think we might see a little low-scoring games moving forward.
Yeah, first game jitters, potentially. We always talk about that, first game of the tournament, you like, especially in elimination games as well. It's always like, okay, we need to make things right, but you can cause a little bit of indecision, and we did see that in a few of the goals that were conceded.
Yeah, and there's a slight problem I see on the side of Blue Angels where there's just that lack of trust of some sort, just a lack of a belief in their own plays. One that was really telling for me was over in the corner when they tried to play the ball into the middle. Hollis had already turned around. He was already out of there. When they're 2 goals down at a time, they need to be getting something into the back of the net. 2-0, 2 goals down, 3 goals down, doesn't make a difference. Take your opportunities when you get them.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that they also missed that wide open net earlier. Might have set them a little bit off kilter earlier than they would like. But, you got to put that one behind you. You only got a best of 5. You don't have a lot of time to brood here.
One thing for Blue Angels they can take away from it, though, is that, they were 3-0 down. They did make a comeback. They did get themselves back into the game at least. They have shown that they can score, and they can make this a tight series. But you just feel like after that game 1, it's going to be more a series based on who makes the least mistakes.
Yep.
Rather than who makes the better plays.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of boost management that really seems to be a problem on both sides at this moment in time. Very little times am I seeing a player get hold of the ball and really seem fast when they've got it. It's more a case of midfield battles end up resulting in an open goal or just a straight-up whiff. I would like to see some more boost management on both sides so that way they can be a lot more creative with the ball, maybe take it elsewhere, because this is just, right now, the ball is glued to the floor, and we're just seeing these 2 teams ram into it and seeing who can get it onto their side.
Well, one good thing, we were talking about no mercy. We were talking about the fact we wanted goals. We had 8 goals in our first series there. Just a little reminder to everyone at home, thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent. That means 80 meals will be going to the World Food Programme over in the USA. Fantastic cause, of course. If you want to get involved, head over to WFPUSA.org. And Shogun, this is your moment /
Universal Open.
Universal Open. That's why I love you. Anyway,
I love you too on set.
Thank you. We watched the football together.
We did. That was a bonding experience, that was.
It was a wholesome desk.
It was. It really was. But 8 goals scored, 80 meals already, and a great start as far as that part of the show is concerned.
Yeah, that's a real good start. And we've got 3 more games to go, and a series even. Not even games. Series.
Exactly. First game. I mean, what's going to change in this second game? Do you think it is just a case of limiting those mistakes? It's going to be a big thing.
Yeah, it's just tighten the screws on both teams, really. That's all I want. It's just you got to realize that you don't have a lot of room to mess about here, I suppose, is what I'm looking for.
I mean, the analytical side of me says I really want to see tighter defenses. I want to see more clinical gameplay. But the fan in me just said, you know what? Do that,
it's
but do it more. Just get loads of goals. I want to see double digits.
Well, let's see if we can find double digits then. It looks like the teams are loaded into the lobby. So, gentlemen, I'm going to throw it back to you because game number 2 is just a few moments away.
Lovely.
Lovely indeed. I mean, we know exactly what we want to look for. We've spoken plenty about it. But have these 2 teams figured out where their faults are? Obviously, Blue Angels have more to correct than First In. First In can definitely see themselves through just by repeating what they took from that last game. And there is going to be a nice challenge. That is the reason why you do not challenge from a typically bad angle, because Hollis, all he was really able to do there was catapult that ball even further to his side. You can see what that's resulted in. First In have all of the pressure, all of the shots, and now they've got the only goal of the match.
Yeah, and this one also worked out quite well because Rox was driving around the front of his net with no boost really in the tank. He only had 11 to work with, so he was just driving around. He saw that one go up high and said, I can't do much about this. I kind of just have to take my best chance. And Sharif, great positioning behind the ball. Coleman coming in to finish the job, and great execution from First In Flight.
Challenge win. Hollis chooses for the ball rather than the boost. It ends up being the wrong decision because he's missed the ball entirely. Leaves Rox all by himself against 2 teammates who should be able to position themselves well. However, the miss will not help. Hollis' shot up high.
No boost.
And Sharif can just flick that ball back into the midfield. Coleman, though, doesn't look too comfortable. Bit of a slow continuation of this game. Now 2 players in the middle. I believe that was 2 blue players. That has to be on target. It was, but the quick recovery from Sharif was good enough to keep that ball at the back of the net. Coleman aiming for a demo. Sharif all the way back, though.
Oh, no.
Sharif can probably follow this one up. He's going to 2 goals to nothing. Blue Angels just sort of hit, hoped, and fell apart.
Yeah, I don't think Hollis even saw Sharif there in the midfield. So focused on the pass from Rocks and thinking about how he was going to hit it. Didn't take a second to realize of whether or not a blue player was coming to steal it from right under their noses, and that's an easy one for Sharif.
You are going to go for those infield passing plays. You can't afford to telegraph them too much. And also, you've got to hit it properly, otherwise it's just going to be a slow bobbling ball to be intercepted.
Oh, he went for the bump there.
That was a nice challenge.
Oh, he got
Follow-up
it.
will be right into the back of the net. Blue Angels, they've not allowed any of these games to get too far away from them. If we are going to give them credit for something, that is something I would really like to do, because we've seen a lot of teams in this tournament, they go 2 goals down and they just give up.
Or they get a little too antsy, and they don't realize how much time they really have, and they try and play far too aggressive too early. I realize you can't afford to get down a lot early on, but 3.5 minutes is plenty of time to work with. It's kind of what you talked about a little bit yesterday. It's you can't take 8 terrible chances when you could make it 1 great chance.
Well, this is going to be a phenomenal chance for Coleman. It was just a little bit too far for Sharif. I've got to say, he's hitting the ball pretty cleanly today, and that is helping out so much.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Also, Sharif has had a bit more space to work with as well, and that's definitely played into their favor. The positioning on defense a little bit off from Rocks and Hollis, just not used to perhaps the pressure they're under currently.
Well, Sharif's first touch yesterday was often described as heavy.
Yeah.
Often,
yeah. 2 opposite ends of the spectrum, but we're going after the same thing.
He's never really had to seem full control, but we've seen him off the wall. We've seen him just there. Seems like he's nailing it that little bit more today. If Sharif is nailing that, then he's become a huge threat as this tournament goes on, as he's going to pick up yet another one. Hat-trick here on the field.
And it's a pretty good dribble again. He doesn't really do too much, just keeps the positioning sound as he's going for this challenge. He's seeing it very telegraphed from Hollis and Rocks. There's not a lot of thinking he has to do about it. Just beat him to the ball, make sure you get behind the center of it, put the center of mass of your card behind it, and you'll come out on top. It's fundamental challenging 101, man. Timing, positioning, win.
Timing, positioning, hit it really hard.
Hit it really hard.
The harder you hit it, the more likely you are to win. Or
objective facts.
Or it could just ricochet off the other car and go into your net. But, you know, I'm an optimist.
You are an optimist.
I am the most optimistic person.
If nothing else.
If anything, I am the person that is always saying the glass is half full. Pass over to the side. Coleman trying to go for a block shot.
Oh, he's got Coleman on the right. Ooh, good idea.
Coleman's already out of there. But still a lovely block once again. Rocks, he seems like he's low on boost. This is not going to happen. Oh, Sharif missed it. He tried to just skirt on the outside of the hitbox of the boost, and so is Coleman missing the boost as well.
Man, super aggressive play there from Rocks and Hollis, but now they're down by 3 and they've only got 2 minutes. You can kind of justify that one a little bit more.
Throw yourself at everything and hope it works out.
I don't know about that. I mean, you are a glass half full kind of guy.
Yes. I don't care if it doesn't work 999 times.
It's that one that makes it totally worth it.
It'll work perfectly. It's like stealing shots.
How many stealing shots do you go for on average, Shogun? Let's say you played 10 matches.
Let's say I played 10 matches.
Sorry, 10 games.
Okay. I would say roughly about 4, but 3 of them would be to get myself out of defense.
Okay. Only one really with the intent to score.
With the intent to score.
All right.
I would say.
All right.
I actually possibly go for more flip resets.
Okay.
Because everyone's trying to go for flip resets at this point.
And that easily comes in the tens of thousands of attempts.
Oh, yeah. Especially if I'm winning. If I'm losing, then maybe not. So
nice placement.
Maybe an attempt every 10 games.
Great placement here from Sharif, though. Coleman with a great air dribble as well, and Hollis a weak touch, just trying to get it back into the corner for safety so he can buy some time for his team to reset. But just doesn't get a strong first touch, and Sharif will punish that one.
Any chance you can get the save stats over to us, Mr. Achieves? Considering I
don't
believe the goals part of the achievement is pretty close, if not already been sorted out.
I keep telling myself I should keep track of saves, but also, at the same time, I'm not sure Sharif and Coleman have had enough shots put at them where they'd have to make a save.
Oh, Sharif, that's number 6 for him.
Just in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing work at the moment, and he's a man after my own heart. He already knows he's won this.
You said no mercy, Shogun.
He is showing no mercy.
You're getting it here.
I am very proud. All for charity, my friend, all for charity.
And that makes it worth it.
Oh, Coleman will miss. Sharif tries to go around. Is this going to be number 7? Instead, he's going to lay this one off to a Coleman who didn't expect the ball.
Put it in your own net, just cuz.
Rocks. His touch all the way off to the side. Sharif going to try and go for yet another one.
Pass back. Oh, it's too far.
Almost turned into the own net, but that was actually Rocks putting it just high enough that he can now follow up his own touch. This might be the longest period of time we've seen in quite a while where Thurston have just not scored. More specifically, Sharif has not scored.
Ooh, hit the lip there, too.
I think if it goes a whole minute, we can consider that a drought on the part of Sharif.
In game 2, absolutely. He's scored once about every 30 seconds or so until the last 2 minutes, and then it's been, every 10.
So far, we've seen 8 goals in every single game. Gonna potentially come back out. And first in, looking very comfortable at this point in time. And Blue Angels have got a lot of work, and they've got a lot to fix if they want any chance of bouncing back in this game. Onset, you saw that one.
I saw Sharif.
Yeah,
I
we
saw
all saw
Sharif turning up, and that's what I like to see. We love to see goals, gentlemen, don't we?
Yes.
We love to see goals, but I mean, that man, I don't know what you have for breakfast or lunch or dinner, wherever wherever the time is over in North America at the moment, but I mean, that guy is shooting nice.
I mean, he's got to look at what he's ate today and then look at what he ate yesterday and just cut that out of his diet entirely.
Never again.
Dietary advice
It's
here
a
from
dietary problem.
Universal Open.
Cereal before the broadcast? No. It's all about clam sauce and, I don't know, something other weird. Some other
just a
strange
bowl of sauce.
Cereal is good any time of the day.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, but I mean, 8 more goals there, gentlemen. And that one was, that was a little bit of a demolition, that one. And I feel like on the other side of things, I feel like Blue Angels, maybe they did start to fall apart a little bit there. I mean, you were talking about how, they kept their fundamentals up in that first game. They kept trying to do the same thing, but I just felt like the pattern of play started to change when they went down in that one, and it did fall apart a little bit for them.
Yeah, they had a little bit of time to work with at the start of that series. They were only down by 2 goals at the 3-minute mark, and then Sharif, that was about the time Sharif decided to just, score everything.
Yeah, there was a big problem there where they went down 2 goals, and that's the point where you're starting to see teams sort of stretch themselves out a little bit more, try and be slightly more creative so they can get themselves back into the game. However, when Sharif starts popping off like that, he was in front of everything. They couldn't get the ball past him, and there's nothing they could really do. They were just outclassed very slightly by a player who seems to have found his form.
Well, also Coleman and Sharif are doing an excellent job denying a lot of the boost. Rocks and Hollis have not had hardly anything. It feels like,
we turn around and say, play faster. You can't.
You can't. You
You
literally
actually can't.
Yeah, you physically can't. But I mean, I want to talk about Sharif because it's been one of those things that through the East qualifier that we saw that when a team found a player and when they found their stride as far as finishing chances is concerned, when they found a player who was every single thing that was created was finding the back of the net, they were the ones that made it into those qualification spots. Now that Sharif's found his form, do you think he can maybe move forward through the bracket and maybe give some of the teams that they lost to, the team they lost to yesterday and some of the other teams in the upper bracket a little bit more of a run for their money?
It depends who they play next round. When we get that bracket update later, we'll take a look and I'll think a little bit harder on that. But I think they might play Revival or Speedy Sloths. They're on that side of the bracket, right?
We'll find out
Maybe.
soon.
Very much maybe. I say they have a chance. They've always had a chance.
Always have a
I mean,
chance,
I've been looking at them and just going, okay, maybe the last game was a little bit too difficult for them, but they could have made it closer. That was the reason why I was upset yesterday, because they never gave themselves a chance. So mechanically, I don't have any doubts that they can get up there and potentially qualify. But will they give themselves that chance? This is not really the game that we're going to get an answer to that question right now. Rocks will miss the ball. Sharif.
Oh, man.
Oh, he's not going to be able to start off this game by scoring. However, Coleman
will.
He got the first goal in the last game. He gets the first goal in this one. Only took 11 seconds.
And he really didn't have to do too much. After he saw Hollis have that awkward landing, he knew the back post was completely open. No chance of the defender. Clinical Shogun.
Certainly what they need. Certainly their stats sounding a lot better than they were yesterday. Only 3 goals in their stream series. And at this point,
13
they're up
so
to
far.
Yes, 5, 7.
I just counted.
Oh, cool. I was just going to do math. This is what happened. I ain't got time for notes.
We've talked about math. We talked about math at great length last week, Shogun.
We did.
It's a -2 intelligence debuff when attempting an arithmetic on stream.
You even said arithmetic.
I know. Is that what they call it here in the UK? Is it arithmetic or is it maths?
Maths.
Maths?
It's not. Arithmetic just sounds like
You're
got
trying
some
too
sort
hard?
of muscle spasm.
What? On set, it's just like, I don't get it.
Oh, wow. What a
Ooh.
shot there from Coleman.
Now, you may call it maths, but Coleman is an expert at geometry, which is also a form of math. And thankfully, players are not casters, so they're allowed to be good at it. And that's a brilliant execution from Coleman.
Yes. Hit it really hard.
Hit it really hard and make sure it goes in the right direction, and good things happen. This has been How to Play Rocket League 101 from the Universal Open.
They've certainly looked like they're up to a different pace today. Coleman, sick of Sharif getting all the plaudits. However, Sharif will be credited with the goal.
They don't even let me write down the details of the last goal before they score another one. And Coleman just makes them all look silly.
Well, I did ask for double digits earlier on.
Yeah, you did.
This game is definitely on its way to that at this point in time. First in, decimating their competition.
Do we want to try and do the math and see how many goals they need per minute to get to 10? They're at 3 in a minute and 15, so times 3 puts them at 4:45, which is in 15 seconds to get 1 goal. They're pretty close. Go! Go. I think I did that right off the top of my head.
Sharif now to the corner, just trying to add more to the scoreboard at this time as Rocks clears the ball wide. They've also got the option downfield, but the double tap is not around.
Oh, is that one over his head?
Could very well be. It's
Oh,
into
it
the back
is.
of the net. Sharif picks up his second. We are very much on target.
It's a nice touch here from Sharif. Just launches that ball downfield. That's the benefit of the Dominus. I mean, it's a lot easier to line that shot up with those Dominus corners because it's got that nice sharp corner on the hitbox. And obviously, you can do the exact same thing with the Octane. It's just that corner is a bit harder to line up due to the length of the car, and that's probably why it's so easy. It feels so easy to hit the ball with the Dominus because you can just line things up a little easier. What a touch, and it doesn't matter. I'm sad.
Sharif's touch just pushes the ball a little bit too far to the right-hand side. Coleman, trusting the ball's going to come over to him, instead picks up that boost. Flick just over the top. Every single game so far looking more and more like it's in First In's favor. Now off the backboard. Follow-up from Sharif, not there. Coleman just has to run forward. Gets that ball over to the far side. It will not be on target. But 0 boost, well, only momentarily on Rocks.
Here's a good chance for him, actually.
With their first goal of the game, if
Oh,
they
he
can get
couldn't
it, but the
pass it.
first touch. Straight down to the body of the car from Coleman.
Ooh. Ran right into each other. I think they're really just stretching to try and do anything, and it's just throwing them all out of sorts. Rox and Hollis just look rattled.
Back out, Coleman. Managed to take it past his own teammate as well. He's only got one more to beat. Turns out to be the hardest one to beat. And the scoring has definitely slowed down just that little bit, but Blue Angels, they need to pick it right back up if they want any chance of getting back into this game.
Ooh. Hollis very aggressive. Can't blame them for trying to go for that. They need a win in the game.
Well, Sharif tries to employ the hit the ball very hard strategy. It's a terrible strategy. It should never be gone for. Defender was always there.
Every time. Ooh, nice cut. One-on-one. Here we go. Let's see it, Sharif. Do it to him.
Now Coleman all the way back as well. Hope he beats that ball as it goes straight up the wall. Minute and 90 now. Double digits definitely seems like it's maybe
Off
a bit
the
of a
table.
stretch, but maybe we can pick up a goal there from Blue Angels. Nope. Sharif keeping the ball in his own possession.
What? Did you see that?
I think there was an attempt at a wave dash catch.
The 360 landing Ultra BM pass back to Coleman, and they don't get it.
Yeah, it was the 360 attempt of a shot there from the rear end of Sharif, and now it's going to be up to the back of the net.
Oh, Coleman
Blue
had
Angels.
no boost. Okay.
Pick up their first of this game. Need 3 more in the next minute and 5
Oh.
seconds.
Unfortunate there from Coleman. He got bumped on his way back and tried to flip into the net, and unfortunately he did it a little too fast, so he started sliding on the side of his car, and he never got the wheels back on the ground, and he couldn't jump.
Sharif. Oh, let's go for the flip resets.
Why not?
And there it is.
Yeah, pretty clean.
It was really good, to be completely honest.
That's like, if I could do that, I would be satisfied with my mechanical abilities.
Well, I definitely enjoyed the way that he uses the rotations in the car just to be able to set up for the rear end of that Dominus, making some of that car pick become more of an advantage to him.
Levers. Lever physics, man.
And Sharif Be able to take a hold of that ball, but with 5-1, Blue Angels staring down the barrel of elimination in the Universal Open. First in, just playing so much cleaner than they did yesterday, and they're getting that much closer to that $100,000 prize pool. Still a long way to go, though. This is only the first game of today's broadcast. We have still got plenty more to come on your screens. First in, they'll be looking to try and make their way into day 3. Sheriff with the fake out. One more for the road from him. 4 goals in this game. We're up to 7. Maybe some kickoffs, maybe.
I mean,
get up to 10.
Maybe. And man, I always think you're joking when you say no mercy, but man, Sharif took that and ran with it. My good, I'm going to count real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 goals in the series for Sharif.
Won't put it past him to add 1 extra before this game is done. Coleman with the clear. You can see Rocks all the way back. They just don't want to concede anything else. They will let that ball drop to the floor. 3-0 to first in. And it was domination on set.
It was very much domination, and that man Sharif is going to want his next game to get underway pretty quickly, to be honest with you. He's going to be feeling very, very good coming out of that one. That's exactly how you want to start an elimination day, essentially in the tournament. You want that confidence to start flowing through you and your team.
And Coleman as well is like, sweet, I'll go along for the ride.
Exactly.
You want to carry me? Let's go.
Well, confidence breeds confidence, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Does.
If you've got a teammate that's playing that well, then
good play breeds good play.
Exactly. It makes you feel confident. It makes you want to get into that next game as well. And I mean, although Sharif was the man who was doing a lot of the flashy stuff there, we have to give props to Coleman. He was doing everything that was required as well.
I think Coleman lost a 50 all game. Every single time he went to challenge, he did win the ball outright.
It kind of felt that way for First in Flight in general. I think Roxon Hollis, there's a decent chance that this could have been Roxon Hollis's first attempt at some really stiff competition. And to be fair, it's not like they played terrible. You could just tell they're outclassed. They have a couple of things to really work on in terms of the positioning aspect. But other than that, I mean, come back next time.
Yeah, we saw what happens when the game goes to the air. A little bit more in that second game. I mean, we saw them, Roxon Hollis, spending a lot of time on their own back line. And against a player like Sharif, and this is the reason why I believe Sharif, I genuinely believe Coleman has the ability to pop off in a more regular style game. But in a game where defenders are being so passive, you give that to Sharif, he is going to use that space and just get nice and close and put in a perfect shot.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is we had 23 goals scored during that series. That's 23. That's 2-3 scored in that series, which means 230 meals will be going towards the fight against hunger, thanks to our fantastic friends over at Soylent. Again, if you want to get involved, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open. What a way to start, gentlemen. 23 goals already. 23. I mean, we didn't want mercy, and we didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about breaking a day 1 record already when you start off game 1 with 23. So it's pretty good odds.
Yeah, I mean, we usually see a lot more goals during... I mean, it has been the question is, will a smashing in 3 games result in more goals than a 5-game mega series? Not too sure yet. I think the question's still up in the air.
Well, we'll find out by the end of the broadcast, I'm sure, especially by the end of the qualification period. But let's have a quick brisk bracket update now and see how that has changed things as far as the complexion of the tournament is concerned.
They will
you
play
can
Revival.
see now, yeah, you can see that now. First in Flight, obviously, who have just sent Blue Angels packing, will be now taking on Revival. And on the other side there, in blue, will be taking on Mercury Pencils, gentlemen. So 2 very interesting matches to come.
And I think we're in the same situation as last week, where a DQ results in only 3 matches on day 2. So it's going to make it that much harder to break yesterday's record. So, I would like to take this opportunity to rescind what I just said about a minute ago.
But the big thing happens. We were talking during that series about how we need to see Coleman and Sharif against decent competition to see whether or not they can play that style.
They're about to get it.
They're about to get it. Revival will give them that competition.
Well, it's definitely a game to look forward to. And, of course, we want to know your thoughts on that series. And we always want to know your thoughts on the series we have coming up as well. So use that hashtag that is above Achieves' head still. It will never move. I promise you that. It is UOS2. So get in touch with us and the guys on the desk as well. We want to hear your questions. And if we've got good tweets, we'll try and get them on the broadcast as well. But that's going to do it all for game number 1, gentlemen. I'm very much looking forward to game number 2.
For sure.
Going to be a good one, but we're going to take a very quick break to set up game number 2. When we're back, though, it's going to be a banger. Don't go anywhere.
Yes, yes.
So, State Farm will be here to help protect our home.
Of course.
What about here?
Yep.
Here? Mm-hmm. Here?
Feels a little awkward.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Dance all night in the moonlit sky. When the sun comes up, it's our last goodbye. Won't let go, I don't wanna leave paradise. You make everything feel alright. You bring every piece of me to life. When we're looking eyes, I lose my mind, my mind. Crash like waves playing in the sand. Live life hard, never looking back. Life's too short in the promised land, promised land. You make everything feel alright. You bring every piece of me to life. When we're looking eyes, I lose my mind, my mind.
Welcome back, guys, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. Now, we've just seen First in Flight move on to the next round of the lower bracket of the tournament. And good news, we're going to see them again right now in our next game. They're going to be taking on Revival, gentlemen. We've just seen them perform to a very high standard, a much better standard than what we saw from them yesterday. Now the question is, can they carry on with that momentum? Can they take down Revival? Are they going to give themselves a chance to move into day number 3?
That's kind of an interesting question. Revival is a team that might surprise a couple of us. We all know Gino Kopp, of course, longtime player of RLCS, a more old school player of RLCS, I should say. Keyboard warrior, too, but he's teamed up with Donnie, who played CRLS here, who's on LSU. Teamed with Lowtech, actually, who we saw last week, so that's kind of cool. But I don't think I've ever seen Donnie and Gino Kopp team together, so it should be... this could be a very interesting matchup, to say the least.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a game that, I mean, we talked about the mentality earlier on. I still believe that Sharif should be able to, Sharif and, oh my god, I suck with names today.
Oh, Coleman.
They're literally just on our screens, and I managed to forget. But I think this is still a game where the names aren't going to quite scare them enough that we're going to see them rotate back a little bit more. So I think this should still fit them just fine. But Gino Kopp, you mentioned it, he's been around forever. He's the original keyboard warrior. Obviously, these days we have Torsos and Yukio as the main ones out there, but he was the originator. He was the one that we were seeing back in the Pro League and just going,
people play this game on keyboard?
Yeah, there's no way that works. Come on. And he did well. You know, faded to launch. They made it to the playoff finals, so he's had a good little career for himself, but maybe there's a revival of sorts coming our way.
Absolutely nailed it, Shogun. That is why we have him on the desk. That's the important thing. Yeah, I mean, Revival, they have that chance of, you know, maybe making a little run here as well. But one thing that we need to obviously keep an eye on here is that this game here, whoever wins this one, they go into tomorrow.
Yes.
And they have a shot at still making qualification. So this is a big game for both these teams. Obviously, as we previously mentioned, it's all about elimination today, but if they could get the momentum from this game to put themselves in that position to potentially qualify, that's a huge thing for both these teams.
Yeah, I mean, any team that wins today, they are a single game away. They've only got to perform one more time, but they're taking on a team that has got 2 chances. If you're in that upper bracket, obviously you've got the much better opportunity. You only have to win once before you lose twice. That's going to be very difficult to pull off. However, for these teams, it gets them into that position. It also might give them a psychological advantage. We've seen teams have to bounce back into a Rocket League match just coming off a loss. These teams, they won't be playing for the entire day. They will come in fresh as a daisy against a team that might mentally be shook.
It's very true, and you know, if you know who you're playing overnight as well, you know, it gives that advantage. You can go back and maybe look at how they've played throughout the tournament. You can take a few little things away. It's these little things. It's these little things that you really can put into practice in tournament play. That's the beauty of having it spread over 3 days as well. You know, you get to the end of one day and you can look ahead to the next day and think, okay, this is what went wrong day 1. This is what we can put right. What went right day 1? Let's do more of that. It's as simple as that.
It's kind of the approach that Splice took and what they talked a little bit about when we interviewed Karma last week. So it's definitely a big advantage if you choose to take advantage of it. And that's kind of the big question is do the teams actually do that? Or do they say, yeah, we played okay Rocket League, I'm going to go eat dinner now, bye?
Alarmingly used that. It's kind of scary at times, but if they utilize it properly, then by all means, they should be able to perform much better.
Look, there's $100,000 on the line here.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it now, I don't know when you are going to do it, but game number 1 is underway, and you can see it's First in Flight taking on Revival. Gentlemen, over to you.
On set, bringing up the age-old question, $100,000 or a good sandwich?
Oh, man.
$100,000 every day of the week. You've got to be able to put that work
That'll buy
in.
you a couple of really nice sandwiches.
You got to play the long game. Gino Kopp. It's going by Gino in the game. It's been a long-time performer in Rocket League. Sharif with the flick. It's going to be up to him, I believe, if he can keep his performances from the last game going. And I'm going to say, I don't want to say bull chase, but I want to say be close to bull chase from Sharif. As there's going to be Coleman. Well, he barely lost any challenges last game. He's won this one with authority.
And as you were making that point, I was thinking in my head, yes, but Sharif is going to need a little bit more help from Coleman in this series than he needed in the last series. And, you know, lo and behold, as I was thinking that, Coleman decides to win another great challenge and throw one right into the net to start it off.
The idea of Sharif just sort of being a boost warrior for me, just constantly in people's faces when allowing Coleman to set himself up in decent positions for challenges. It actually kind of rings kind of nicely in my head. So we'll see what the strategy these guys go ahead and implement. Obviously still very comfortable with the Dominus after the last game. Sharif with the ball on his hood.
Not
1-0
quite.
currently to first in.
Yeah, Geno Cop's going to show you why keyboard is a fantastic thing to dribble with if he ever gets that space to work with.
Well, it's going to be poor positioning. Sharif cuts out the pass. Easy goal for him to just tap in.
Yeah, Donnie expecting the hard flick, and he side flipped on the way out.
I've never heard of a side flip. I've heard of a back flip. I've even seen an occasional forward flip. Heck, I've seen a double jump. Side flip,
I've done it a few times.
I feel like every single time we bring up something that's wrong, you've done it.
I mean, there's a pretty good reason as Sharif gets this one back, and this is not a good game number one. But yes, there's a pretty good reason why you've never heard of something and I've done it. It's because, you know, I'm a leader, not a follower.
You're the mad scientist. You're out there finding out everything, testing it out. A pioneer, we might call it. Well, first in, they've started off with the perfect start. 3-0. They're looking so aggressive right now. And Revival has to be sort of handed to them a lot of these opportunities.
They would have really
on the far side.
They would have really enjoyed getting that one right back after getting 3 goals put on them. Unfortunate that they couldn't get the back of the net here as time continues to dwindle.
Donnie over the
Good
top
chance.
of Coleman, can get the double tap. Go straight down. Follow up now from Geno Cop. Is into the back of the net. Crucial from Revival.
We saw a lot of that yesterday. Donnie, he's going to be disappointed with himself he didn't put that one into the back of the net, but either way, you got 2 players to bite at him, and Geno Cop actually threw the changeup. We saw a lot of that yesterday, that slow shot towards the net. Everyone's expecting a strong touch right into the top corner of the net, and Geno Cop just makes him think twice.
I think especially after that double commit, all he had to do was really hit the target.
Yeah, put it on frame
I don't think it's
somewhere.
got anything down to, oh, I really want to catch it. It's just, I really don't want to mess this up.
Just make sure it's in.
It's going to be Coleman. Ball's played straight back out. Sharif has got time, but he's going to be chased down by Donnie. It's a pass straight out. Coleman, I don't think knew too much about it. But knew enough to get himself in the way.
Back pass.
Donnie,
Ooh, not
it's
clean.
not too convincing either. Sharif tries to go the long way round. Now Coleman. So Sharif, who was thinking better, especially after the pass, was not really too accurate. Now all the way back out. Missed there from Donnie. He can still stay on the ball. There's a big challenge win from Coleman. That could drop straight down into a danger area. And it is Geno all by himself just for a moment or two, but he's done well enough to keep the ball out of his net. There's Sharif. He's got the shot. What a save. But it was not a strong enough hand on the ball. First in, they'll be happy to resume scoring.
Yeah, I was watching Donnie's camera here, and I was thinking as soon as that ball went off the sidewall, he had a choice. He could either go and challenge that or leave it in Geno's hands, and he gave him the space, and something told me that Geno just wasn't going to have enough time to recover, and that is indeed the case.
I mean, Geno went for the pre-jump. I think like he actually did better with that than he had any right to.
Yeah.
From the position he was coming in.
Thought he had no chance.
Didn't even push it forward. He went backwards with the way that ball was going. Coleman. We've already seen from the last one, especially in game 1 and 2. Well, more game 2 than anything else, but first in, once they get that lead, they are happy to keep squeezing. They will want Revival to know that there is a skill difference. Maybe to moralize their opponents. Remember, a lost series here knocks out the losing team from the tournament. There are no more second chances.
And I think Geno and Donnie.
It's a good name. We've seen a lot of mixture names in this tournament. Well, there's no mixing that one up. That is just a powerful strike.
That's just Coleman launching one from the midfield line. And the only reason it goes in is because Donnie missed that boost in the midfield. If he gets it, he makes that save no problem. Unfortunate.
So 5-1, first in. Seeming like the better team so far. The scoreline does represent exactly that. Straight from the kickoff into the net. Revival take the kickoff goals to 1 apiece.
Yeah, this is a pretty good kickoff. Just goes straight up, and Geno goes for that very aggressive cheat up. He was pretty much right behind Donnie all the way there. Fortunate that the ball popped up, but quick reaction.
I'll be impressed once he does that kickoff when he's 3 goals up. That would show true determination to me.
Just be like, we're ahead by 3, time to risk everything.
Optimist achieves optimist.
Yeah, glass always half full.
It can always be fuller. I think that's greed at this point. I mean,
yeah, that might be greed, yeah.
Geno comes out with the ball. Could potentially find a pass as well. He's got the boost, but Sharif covering incredibly well. Just seemed to be man-marking. The bounce out was not quite what they
Nice.
expected. Time
Ooh,
continues to
big
tick
miss.
away. It's already a difficult strategy for Revival to get back into this game. More time being wasted as well. Sharif, he's going to try and go around the world. Tap down there from Donny. Requires Gino to help out. It's the last pace Revival want to see right now is this orange
Nice
side of the field.
bump.
Nice bump, but who can recover in time? It is Sharif. Way ahead of absolutely everybody. Now 30 seconds left. Revival, it looks like it could be a done deal.
Yeah, it's been a pretty rough game. Whoa, my gosh, Sharif. He had so many options to pick from. Gino had to pick one of them. All Sharif had to do was wait.
And I honestly feel, like we mentioned this yesterday, Sharif has not been playing as much as of late. This looks like he's just been, ever since he lost the game yesterday, he has not shut off the PC.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to grind for 24 hours.
He has got about
Another one.
4 or 5 days worth of grinding in 24 hours, and now he looks like Sharif evolved.
It's pretty good. There's no denying that. And it's a... Man, if you want to send a message in game one, how about 7-2?
And first in, they only got better from game 2 onwards. Revival, it will be all down to them to find some answers and maybe find the pace that will be required. Nice bump there.
What a great catch from Gino off the back wall. That was brilliant.
We're going to need more brilliance exactly like that because this game
It's got to pass.
is going to be done. There is going to be Donny's opportunity. Can't tap it straight down.
0 for 2 right in front of the crossbar.
It was still a very difficult shot to nail,
Very.
but if they could nail it, that would give them a huge confidence boost. But on set, they're stepping up, and honestly, they seem to be.
I think you've uncovered the secret of Sharif. He literally has not turned his PC off, has he? He's been sat there. I mean, at the moment, he's frail, he's tired, but my word, he's playing some good Rocket League.
He's got the lights all dim. If anyone comes in and turns on the lights,
Leave.
all of it goes.
It's just the door opens, he's going, and then someone tries to come in again. It's like, yeah, that's Sharif right now, and he's playing like an animal. Let's be honest.
I mean, the one thing I would like to see swap over from Revival side of things, I think Gino played a pretty decent game. The big difference maker for me, it wasn't that Donny was playing bad, it was that Donny was struggling to control the amount of boost on the pitch that he had available to himself. There were a lot of opportunities where he took himself out of position to go get some boost, and it either wasn't there or he didn't get it. So I think if Donny's able to sort of mediate that a little better going forward in the series, it'll look a lot better.
Well, Revival have really struggled with a defensive style of first in, who basically just plant a player in front of you and then have the second player a couple of steps back so they can
win the
basically
challenge or
recover.
lose.
Yeah, it's like, we'll send the front player for you, but don't expect them to win the ball. Their entire point is just to go for it, and then the person behind will clean up. But Revival are struggling to get past that first player, let alone the second one. The only time Revival have really looked threatening is when they get possession of the ball in the midfield and then get it to come off the backboard. Every other time, they've really struggled to get it past that first player, meaning they're struggling to get it even past the halfway line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And I kind of feel for the guys in Revival because, as we talked about, First in Flight just came off the back of our first game where they got so much momentum as well, where they got so much momentum behind them and, they were playing so well. And it's carried over into this series. They said they wanted to get straight into the next series. We are into the next series, and they haven't missed a beat.
Absolutely not. They've been looking at their best. Revival still yet to hit theirs in this series. But after that last game, the only way really is up for them. That's a good challenge there from Donny. You mentioned it last game, Achieves. You want Donny to start stepping up that little bit more.
Yeah, I really think if Donny's able to control the boost on the pitch, it's going to open up a lot more opportunities for Gino, just because Donny's going to be in position a little bit more to buy him a little bit more time to get set. I think you can really see Gino take over this game if he gets a few opportunities.
Well, it seemed to be a secondary option. They didn't know if they were going to pass or shoot that ball. Sharif, he's only got one thing on his mind. That is the shot, and Coleman, he's rotated across a little bit too early, was not in position to take an immediate shot. Now flicks that one over to the side. That is an open net, and that will be put in. First in, scrappy opening few seconds.
Yeah.
And honestly, if Revival were able to get a goal out of that, that could have turned the fortunes, but that's going to be a huge punch to the guts.
Yeah, for actually a brief second, I really thought they were going to clear that ball, but right at the tail end of that, they started double committing, got a little bit scrambly, and just tied each other up, and Coleman kept a cool head, and he's been winning challenges all day.
Oh, Donny. You seem to have had an argument against the wall there, mate.
Did he? I didn't actually see it.
The wall has definitely won.
Oh, man. Yes, it did. It's PvE here in Rocket League, and that's the sign of a well-designed map, right?
You wait till Stadium comes out, mate.
Oh, dude, I'm unbelievably stoked.
I'm so
to play
glad it's got
that map.
SARBC physics, because I get to be good again for a little while.
Hey, you won an ESL monthly champion title.
No, I
when
won
it
a
was-
monthly elite.
Oh,
It means I
excuse
won
me.
a single game. And it was good enough.
But it was hard to do that.
It was. It's going to go off the
You
back.
did it versus SK Gaming.
I did. It's the only claim to fame I'll ever have. However, first in, they want their claim to fame to be qualifying for the next round. I don't think they're going to be settling down at this point for moving on to the next round. They have got blood in the water, and they smell it. They are just circling around
Oh, yeah.
and scoring goal after goal.
That really is what it is, too. Like, they are sharking Donnie and Gino. They're saying, look, you can't afford to make any mistake.
Also, since you did bring it up, shout out to Dex9 and EU Rizzo. The real Rizzo.
Not that NA scrub lord.
Nah, none of him. Although we will be seeing that Rizzo
Next week?
Well,
the next time we broadcast, yeah.
Be week number
Week
4
4
for us.
Okay.
Next week is Central. It's Coleman. Takes the ball down. And the week after that will be West. West is going to be a stacked group.
West and Europe will both be absolutely stacked.
Those will be our last 2 broadcasts before we head to those regional finals.
Oh, man,
Sharif
not pretty.
wins the ball outright. And I said Revival were going to be more of a challenge. First in are now back to their scoring sprees that they were like in the last series.
Yeah. Also a rare misplay from Gino coming off that read off the back wall. I mean, there were times when you'd see him take that ball and just, launch it to the other side of the pitch for a goal. And
There was times even yesterday that we would see them just back out of that sort of play whenever they got a hold of it. First in, looking incredibly confident at this point in time. Sharif.
He's cruising, dude.
He really is cruising. Wonder if he can go 2 days straight, because he's got to keep this level going.
Yeah, still got to get
If they
through at
win
least
this
one
game,
more.
they'll be playing tomorrow. Don't let that boy sleep.
And they would be playing the loser of the lower half of the bracket.
Which I believe could lead to a rematch.
It could. It could. And game 2 continue. When it rains, it pours, Shogun. This is not pretty. Coleman again. Brilliant challenge. 2 in a row, even. And, Sharif gets to be the beneficiary of that.
I mean, Coleman's challenges have just been next level.
He's also cruising, just in a different way.
Well, Coleman's been that player that, when I brought up before this game started about how Revival can't get past the midway, it's because of Coleman. Every single time they reach the brick wall of Coleman, they can't move anywhere.
Coleman only needs 3 more goals to have a pretty decent chance at
He needs to stop
the-
passing it away. He keeps winning these and setting them straight up to Sharif. To the other side, Sharif won't have Coleman around to help out. In fact, he won't have a card to help him out as he has been removed from the pitch. Donnie over to Gino Cap. This is a big risky play. They've got to score off it,
hello.
and they have done so. Revival 5-1. They have got to basically ride a huge wave if they want to get back into this match.
Yeah, big double commit there, and Sharif just... I call that little lip right next to the goal the Noob Slayer, because sometimes, you don't mean to hit it, but
What
you
are you
just
saying
clip
about
it.
Sharif here?
I'm just saying, I run into that thing all the time. You rotate into the net, and he gets it right back, so it's fine. He gets it right back, but it's fine. But that lip right next to the mouth of goal is just... It's the Achilles heel of almost everybody in Rocket League, I swear.
Well, Sharif basically stats padding at this point, but also making this game a little bit more comfortable. They don't want to give Revival any sort of hope at this point in time.
It's brutal.
It's 7 goals in this game. Well on task for 10. That is going to be a miss. That should be number 8, but what a save there from Coleman. Just dived straight onto our screens and straight in front of that ball.
Oh, did
there
you
is
get it?
Sharif. Unbelievable passing play. And that is actually very scary, because that is a part of the gameplay that we have not seen at all from First In. That is another
rare
level for
pre-jump.
them to add to.
The rare pre-jump. That's his 10th goal, by the way, of this series.
Give him some saves.
Yeah, I know, right? It's Coleman has 4 saves.
Well, if it couldn't be more obvious about whose job is what, we've
Coleman
got
also
stats here
has
to help.
5 assists. He's only assisted half of the goals. for Sharif. Otherwise, Sharif has just been...
Most of those assists have just been, okay, I won the challenge.
Yeah.
And then you get stuff like that.
It's not even
is
a pass. It's just, you know, win everything, and then Sharif will clean it up.
It's 8 goals now. Donnie. It's a loose ball from him. Sharif can just go and chase
is
from
it
Coleman.
free? One-on-one. Oh, you almost got him.
Gino takes that away.
Nice
and Demos.
Good chance here.
Giving one player back, but the shot is just in.
Perfect placement.
Thread the needle. Up to 9 now.
Yeah, good composure there from Donnie, knowing he can't afford to get lazy. See Sharif rotating in from that corner, says the only way this is going in is the left-hand corner. And that is pixel perfect. Any further to the left might bounce out. Any further to the right probably gets saved. Nice placement.
One more goal away from the big 10-0. Wait, 1-0. Wait, that's 100. Well, 10-0 would be the exact amount of meals that would be donated, so I feel almost correct as we have got ourselves 10-goal game. A nice little goal there from Revival.
Here's a question. Does this count as hitting double digits, Shogun? Does that count 10 goals total? Or did you want 10 from one team?
I don't want any... when I said no mercy, I meant even if you're losing.
Okay.
No mercy ever, any of the time.
Just scorched earth operation.
Absolutely. Could be the opportunity for yet another, but then bumped away. Gino able to rotate himself back. This game is now over. Revival looking a little bit better towards the end of this game. But is once again first in. Just seem to have moments in these games where they just have a 2-minute spree. Where they seem completely untouchable.
Yeah, they just do whatever they want and it works. It's like there's no other way to explain it.
It's the
just
best
like,
sort of day of Rocket League as well, isn't it? When you're just having that day where you don't know
You can
what
do
you're doing, but for
nothing
some
wrong.
reason, it's going fine. Onset, you know what that's like.
Yeah, of course I do. It's what I do best.
Of course.
Of course I do.
That's
but I mean,
every Tuesday for Onset.
it's so interesting. I think you make a great point there. Sometimes you just wake up, you play, and everything just works for you. And that's what's happening right now in this series.
He's still been awake since yesterday, so it might have been a
That's a good
power nap
point,
or
actually.
something.
He just passed out for like an hour after. But he's woken up in a very good mood, and it's a goal-scoring mood at the moment. But both these players, I mean, I've got to be honest, if they were playing a qualification match today, you wouldn't want to be going up against them.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, I really want to see that rematch at this point.
I really
I
do
would
too.
love to see this version of First In actually playing
Ghost Station?
against Ghost Station. That would be such an interesting matchup to me. And at current rate, it's possible. It is very possible.
It is very possible, and at the moment, I kind of feel for Revival, to be honest with you. You know, they're on the end of a team playing at the best of their potential at the moment, and it's so difficult to even get any sort of momentum in a game, let alone the series now. I mean, you have to feel at this point that with the way that First Inflate are playing, that the series is kind of done. It's kind of locked in. You know, they're up 2-0. They only need one more game. Of course, they're all best of fives. But I mean, how can they try and elongate this series? Is that the key? Just think, we want to send this to a game 4, then we want to send it to a game 5. It's just about taking your wins where you can get it.
Well, I think Shogun hinted at it. You can't afford to think, okay, we need to win 3 games in a row. You do have to take the mentality approach and say, look, just win the next 5 minutes. That's always, you know, compartmentalize what you need to do. And then the next thing is figure out how to beat Genocop. Because, to be fair, Sharif is doing a lot of good things on his own, but Genocop is also setting up a lot of extra chances for Sharif. So I think step 1 is, if you can't stop Sharif on your own, you got to be able to stop his teammate giving him other chances.
Yeah, and I mean, they've added to their play as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit worried that maybe they would be a bit of a one-hit wonder with the way they were playing. Just have Sharif go ahead and do whatever he wants, and then have have his teammate come in and actually help out. But now that we can see the passing plays happen, that adds an extra level, because we've seen when teams move forward how hard it can be for them to transition back into defense. If there is a way of clearing straight to a shooting player, that is so quick. Your car cannot move as fast as this ball. That is a fact of Rocket League. So if you can keep the passing plays going, that is dangerous, because that is a constant threat even when you're in defense.
Well, it looks like the game is about to get underway, gentlemen. Once again, it's over to you and Revival. They're on the ropes and they're looking at elimination right now.
Yeah, they've got to find some way. I honestly believe, like, you were mentioning the next 5 minutes, I'm thinking the next goal has to go their way. So they start off last game. They actually looked a little bit better, but it didn't last too long before they just have 2 goals up against them.
Yeah, it would really be nice for them to start off on a good foot, and this is a great chance to do it. Donnie back wall.
Oh, it's going to come straight back out. Follow in! Gino has got that first goal. And now we get to see how this will play out from here. Revival will be playing from a lead, I believe, for the first time this entire series.
You would be correct in that assumption. So well done. Casters are never wrong, Shogun.
Casters are never wrong.
And you are one of them.
Got my wizard hat now, okay. Got me wizard hat for making predictions right. It's going to go all the way to the far side. Revival need to find some way of producing some magic in this game. All the way back down to the other side. Sharif with the clear. Also an opportunity for us to answer some questions about the way first in play, but that, if you're going to go up to challenge, you've got to make sure you're going to hit the ball at the very least.
Yep.
Revival handing away their lead.
Yeah, wasn't even a super great pass, and a couple of uncharacteristic misses from Gino, and he's in a pretty decent position to deal with it, and really unfortunately he's not able to come up with those. It's giving away free equalizers, and it's frustrating when that's happening.
It definitely is. There's a different mindset that happens between when you give away a goal and when you were beat for a goal. And one of them definitely feels better. Sometimes you can just tip your cap and just say, okay, yeah, we got beat for that.
Well played. And then there's, oh my god, I can't believe I just let that happen.
Yeah, knowing that you have the potential in you just to go, okay, it's done. It's not good. Sharif, gonna wait around. It's gonna be a late pass. No, you never go for those. Whenever, and this is something for people to take into ranks with them. If you ever see your teammate rolling the ball across the floor, not the ball on their hood, do not go for a passing position. It will never be powerful enough to reach you.
And you know what everyone is thinking that just heard you say that? Not with that attitude.
I mean, they can continue to go for it. It's one of those actual 0% plays.
I like how we just had a pop-up that said, here to help. I thought that was great.
Donnie can't quite win that challenge. Sharif to the far side. That's going to go all the way once again. It's going to be set up once again for Sharif. Who would have thought at that point that maybe, just maybe, to see Coleman moving in. It's a good play. Sharif using every single inch wide of the field, not even moving forward most of the time. Just having to take that one or two extra touches to make his way towards the final third.
A lot of space. Oh, Donnie, I thought you were going to close it. Okay.
I think Donnie saw the potential for a pass, especially with the way Sharif was moving. Seemed like it was being telegraphed, and he did try to read it. However, Sharif moved himself out of the way nice and quick. Now Donnie, back down. Potentially try and pinch. Didn't have the boost for it. He's still trying.
This is at least a much better game for Revival. It's like they're not already down, 3 goals at the halfway point. It's a close game, but that's a big whiff. And my, oh my, I don't even want to know how many that is on the day for Sharif. He's got to be at least to 20. At least.
And it is a reoccurring theme for Revival. A lot of the goals they're conceding are when one person on their team gets beat and they think, okay, we can fix this right now. And they end up being nowhere near the ball that gets played past them. That's going to be number 4 right in, and mentioned it last game, how it just seems like Thurston can go for a minute or two spree of being untouchable. I think we've just hit that spree.
Now, I think they're actually... Well, actually, I'm not too sure. The first couple of games, Coleman had to make a couple of saves. Coleman's at 6 goals right now.
I think
Coleman might have a decent chance at being the dual force difference split. I think he's got a decent chance, but I don't know how many saves he has.
Coleman. Straight back over, but he's
too busy passing the ball.
He hasn't been getting those goals.
He's too busy passing the ball to Sharif and winning challenges to set up Sharif.
Every single ranked player in the world right now is looking at Coleman and just wishing right now
he
that
was
they
on
were
their
playing
team.
with him.
Yeah.
He's going to go all the way back out. Sharif tries to chase it down, and he will win.
And we made the joke. It's like Coleman's getting carried by Sharif.
Well, Sharif's got 3 saves this game.
True.
So, can they share it?
I don't think... Oh, did he get it? Yes! Okay, Coleman's got 7 goals.
7 goals for this game, however.
No saves.
He's got 0 saves.
No saves in Game 3. That's why I'm not too sure.
He can't seem to pick which one he wants anymore.
He must sacrifice the defense to score the goals.
Well, he's given the defense over to Sharif.
But that doesn't stop Sharif's
And
offense.
Sharif's coming out of yet another kickoff goal.
Oh my
This is a
goodness.
habit at this point. Sharif, I want to see if there's been like the exact other ones that he's been scoring as well. Yep, he comes in late and he's picking the spot where that ball's going to go over to. It's a smart play.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to see it. I would you've got to go central on that ball. Why are you going sideways to start with? If you go central, Sharif's kickoff style doesn't make a difference.
I do know when I play Dominus, well, actually, you know what? No, I don't want to give away my rank strats. Never mind. I take that back. I take that back.
The tech is what they like to call it.
My personal kickoff philosophy will remain hidden forever.
You don't even go for the kickoff, do you?
No, I do go for kickoff.
Oh, okay. Bro, I've narrowed it down.
Yeah.
I'm going to break you somehow, Cheese. I'm going to get all this information.
So you don't need kickoffs to
You said you weren't going to talk. I got you talking.
You don't need kickoffs to beat me, Shogun. Trust me.
I have some bad losses on my record, mate.
I've played you. You'd smoke me every time.
Maybe not, as that's going to be a ball off the post. Revival really needed to get that one in. They want any chance of coming back into the net. We could actually play on fair ping, though.
We could.
For the time being.
We could. I will bring my controller the next time I come out here. And what a stop, but a big double commit. Donnie still can't get it.
Oh, I was wondering if Sharif had the saves necessary. He's got the saves necessary. He's got six. I think he just got 3 of them in the last
2
10
seconds. Yeah.
That was incredible. That Dominus just doesn't move.
You know, I think if they put in one more goal over on the first in flight side here, I think they have the exact same scoreline throughout all 3 games. Oh no, Revival scored 3 in game 2.
That's going to be an opportunity to score that third. But first in. Wow, way to make us look silly over here on the desk.
Right.
Turned around and said, you know what, this will be a much bigger test for them. It really wasn't.
They've scored 17 goals in this series. It's like, we were like, oh yeah, it will be a stiffer test. But no, they made Gino, Kopp, and Donnie look exactly the same as Rox and Hollis. Exactly the same. And the ability to do that is what's mind-boggling.
Well, Sharif, I hope you're ready for a long night, my friend. Because he has stepped up. Coleman has found another level. They are the landmine team going into tomorrow. Whoever drops down, I'm worried. I'm very worried for them.
I mean, I think, Sharif has got another long night ahead. If he did whatever he did yesterday, just do it again. Just do it again. Because, again, both those players just performing at the top of their game.
Yes.
Thank you, Chiefs.
We saw it all happen. There's nothing left to say. They crushed
It's
everybody.
difficult, isn't it? I think Ralph Wiggum put it best. He said, stop, there. We're already there.
Yeah, it's like they're done, man.
It's so rare that we can come out of these games and just say, we don't know what to analyze. They were outclassed, basically. And it really comes down to, first in, it seemed like they had an identity today, which is something they really didn't have yesterday, but they knew how they wanted to play. And that helps out so much because you just think to yourself, okay, things are going wrong, how do I fix it? We go to what's been working. And if they can keep this going rather than turtling up into their shell tomorrow, they can be a real threat to whoever they take on.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Yes, it's great to perform like this on day 2 and keep yourself alive in the tournament. However, can you keep it going into a third day now? And can you perform up to the same standards that you have in day 2 on day 3 against tougher opposition? Because it is tough to roll momentum across days.
Complacency becomes the big question. Because I'm pretty sure there's no doubt that Sharif and Coleman said, okay, yeah, we're not happy with how only scoring 3 goals versus Ghost Station, and I'm sure they took at least a little bit of time, if not yesterday after the loss, today before the broadcast, just say, let's go smash some people, and they did just that.
Well, they've got a huge match no matter what tomorrow. They're going to be taking on Ghost Station again in a rematch, or they'll be taking on FlyQuest.
Ooh.
Neither of those are easy matchups, so it's all down to them. I like what I saw today, however, it's a step up in competition tomorrow, no matter what.
It is very much a step up in competition, like you say, but if they manage to continue playing the way that they did today, they give themselves a very good chance. Now, what we should tell everyone at home about is the amount of goals that were scored in that series, because My abacus was started to catch fire at one point. It was 28 goals scored during the series. So in just one series, thanks to our partners over at Soylent, we have managed to get 280 meals in the fight against World Hunger that we donated to the World Food Programme USA. A fantastic effort from those guys. We didn't want mercy. I mean, they didn't give it to us.
Oh, man.
But what it did give us is 280 meals. So congratulations to those guys and everyone involved in that match for what you guys have done. If you want to get involved, of course, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open. And now, let's see what this has done to the bracket, because we're getting down to it now, gentlemen. Let's have a brisk bracket update and see exactly how the land is lying. You can see here, First in Flight now moving into the last part of the losers bracket there, and on the other side of things, In Bloom versus Mercury Pencils will be coming up next. And I mean, I love how brackets come together just before the end of a little tournament run. You can see that qualified box on the right hand side just waiting to be filled.
It's so
Can they do it?
Organic storytelling. I love it. It's just, okay, we saw you the first time around. You didn't play very well. Let's take a look at you again today. Have you felt? Oh, wow. Oh, okay. You definitely fixed.
Where was this yesterday? Is almost what you think, isn't it?
This is the reason why we were so upset with what we saw yesterday, because we came out of that and we were ranting, we were raving. This is why, because we know this team could play at this level. You can usually tell the more upset we get with you, it's because we want better from you, please.
We only get angry because we care.
We love
is what
you.
we're saying, basically. But of course, we care about you guys at home as well, and you can use that hashtag UOS2 to get in touch. Do you guys think that First in Flight can make it into one of those 4 qualification spots to regionals? If they continue playing like they just did right now, they give themselves a very, very good chance. Now, you might have noticed as well, we only have 3 fixtures for today, so the next match coming up will be the last one of the day. I mean, if it's anything like the last series, there's going to be goals, but I think it might be a little bit closer than what we just seen.
We've had at least, what, 50 goals already today?
Today we've got 1 less broadcast, and yet I feel like we've had the same amount of goals as we had if we had 4 matches on broadcast.
Well, it's definitely been exciting. We'll have the last game after this very quick break. Don't go anywhere, guys. We want you back in just a few minutes. We'll see you then.
So you'll be here to help if I need you?
I got you.
What about here?
Yep.
Here?
Yes, Kyle.
And here's Sir Robert from State Farm.
If you invite me.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
trying to find a trace. I'm calling, shouting out your name, calling. Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is? I'm helpless, and the walls are caving in. Can't breathe now, losing my sanity. I'm calling, shouting out your name, calling. Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is? Your silhouette out of the corner of my eye, out of the corner of my eye. Your silhouette out of the corner of my eye, out of the corner of my eye. Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is? Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is?
walking into action, laughing and joking. You know my door's always open. There's many different patterns. Pick the one that's everlasting. I'll always be around when you're feeling down. Take my hand and you'll find out. 'Cause I can't let you go, I let you walk away. If I can't tell you why I've been feeling this way lately.
Welcome back, guys, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. And after we've just seen First in Flight dominate their way through the lower bracket of the tournament, it's time for our final game of the day. And it's going to be In Bloom taking on Mercury Pencils. Now, Mercury Pencils, we saw some of yesterday. We got a little taste of how they might play, but In Bloom, we haven't seen much of those gentlemen.
Yeah, In Bloom is a big question mark for me because they played 2-3 versus the team that's currently in the upper bracket versus Word, which is Fireburner and NRG, or not Fire, which is Fireburner and Torment. Excuse me.
Nailed it.
And I don't know how Phenomenal XP, because they played Hawkcat, went 2-3, so it was a close series, okay. And then Phenomenal XP in the lower bracket just get destroyed by In Bloom, so it's like, wait, how did In Bloom lose their first round match and end up in the lower bracket? And I have no idea how we've arrived here.
Well, I know a detective, Achieves.
Yeah.
He's very close to you right now.
Is it you?
No.
Is it that guy?
It's that guy over there.
That's unfortunate.
He never misses. That was terrifying, and I apologise to every single viewer that just had to see that.
You didn't have to see what Achieve saw, don't worry.
It's very true.
You wait until VR
very
gets in
true.
this.
But I mean, you're
really
a man
cool.
who loves an investigation, apparently, according to me right now.
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
All right,
What do you think happened?
You've got a wizard hat.
I've got the
Put
wizard
on the
hat.
Sherlock
Okay,
hat.
but that's for predictions. Okay, that's the future. I am better at predicting the future than I am discovering the past. Okay?
Sherlock
I'm not
hat
an
and pipe.
I'm not an archaeologist.
Okay.
However, there's one or two options here. Either number one, they just didn't turn up to play well at all,
Possible.
or number two, they didn't turn up to play
Possible as well.
and they just get DQ'd because of it. We're not entirely sure why. But speaking of first round heroes, we've got another one on the other side. Mercury Pencils.
Yeah.
Got first rounded by the guys that we just saw, First in Flight. Which, you wouldn't be too surprised by that one, but they're making a run at this point. A victory for them means that they can go from there into one game away from qualifying. What a run that would be for whichever team manages to get through.
Yeah, it's so true. You've got to remember, if this is the last game of today, but if you win it, you make it to the final day of this qualification period, and you do give yourself a shot at qualification to those regionals, which is what this is all about. I mean, if that doesn't get you, pumped up for this series, I don't know what does. Exactly. You've got to perform.
We saw a team last week that we thought would have a decent enough chance at making it, and they still screamed, "We're going to DC, baby." Could you imagine the pop-off if one of these teams manages to make it all the way through to their own regional finals? We would have to get them on for an interview.
Of course. Well, we'd love to get them on for an interview because we want to, these guys, we saw it. We saw it in the interview that we had last week, how excited these guys are, how much it means to them to get through. You've got to remember, there's a qualification process before this. Now we're on the broadcasts. We're trying to qualify for regionals. You get to regionals, I mean, it's a $100,000 prize pool to be fought for here, and you're giving yourself the best possible opportunity.
I mean, you're giving yourself perhaps the only opportunity, because, I mean, if you don't make, well, you know what? That's just going to sound dumb. You're going to light me up like I did for the midfield line thing.
I was waiting. I'm not going to lie. I was waiting.
Are we letting him off if he cuts himself off halfway?
I was waiting
I feel like I get off the hook for that
like
one.
a predator there, stalking his prey. Just waiting for that, but unfortunately you didn't give it to me. But, I mean, Mercury Pencils, we talked about it. We saw a little bit of them yesterday.
They played Verbelli.
They played Verbelli, and it was a difficult series for them, we have
5
to
games.
say. But they didn't come out on top in that one, but they would have learned a lot from that series. Now, going into today, we've seen how a team can change overnight. And what we've just seen previously from First in Flight. Do they have it in them? Do you think they've got the ability to maybe take some confidence and take some belief out of what they've just seen from First in Flight and translate that into their gameplay today?
I think that kind of works. Well, it depends first and foremost, if they're watching the broadcast, I don't know if I would. I wouldn't want to psych myself out personally.
Yeah.
Do you really want to hear what we've been saying?
Yeah.
Ever? I can't think of a quicker way to demotivate yourself in the world.
But it is kind of that double-edged sword. I think I'd rather spend my time playing and getting set up. So I don't know if I've seen the. There's no other way to explain it. Inspiring performance by those guys. So. Mercury Pencils, they came out on top versus Bravelli. It was 5 games, and they're the only team we have any intel on. Again, it's always seeing these players come out of the woodworks. Jit and Perma here. I mean, let's see what you can do, and they start off brilliantly. They win a kickoff 3 seconds in. All right, welcome to the Universal Open.
I was going to say you should always go with the devil you know, but also go for the devil that just really recently impressed you within the last second or so. So I'm going to go for that one at this point.
Yeah, the wizard hat screaming in bloom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more surprised the wizard hat even fits my head, to be completely honest. That was a prediction I couldn't get right. This is going to be a fantastic start, and it's going to get even better. 2-0.
How did this one happen? Let's see.
I'll tell you what, our detection earlier on, trying to figure out whether or not it was a DQ or whether or not it was just a romp, hasn't been helped
I
by
agree.
this scoreline.
There's zero indication. But, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better start to the broadcast.
Oh,
How about another one?
It's going to just
man.
take it again. Oh, my.
It's
in
like...
bloom. Welcome to the broadcast. There's no jitters whatsoever. This is
Wednesday is
destruction.
It's the light up the scoreboard day, apparently, here on week 2. I mean,
you tried doing your math earlier on. Come on, let's get it out again. 3 every 20 seconds. That's time 3 by 9. 5 times 9, 45, I believe. So
they can get 10
we're
goals.
on course for 45 goals this game.
I would not be able to math that one out fast enough.
I was able to. Be impressed.
Proud of you.
I'm proud of you as well.
8.5 out of 10. Always room for improvement.
Got B in my GCSEs. Can't remember what Pythagoras is anymore, but I've still got the GCSE.
He's the one with the triangles and stuff.
Well, much of our laugh as we're having right now in Bloom have been deadly serious, and they've been deadly in front of goal so far.
Or they're just giggling. They're just like, this game is easy.
I can guarantee you, with this much money on the line, you know how much this means to some of these players. In fact, most of these players. $100,000 to win. And it looks like In Bloom are happy just to slow down the pace. Suddenly seems like my 45 might have been a slight stretch. But Jit is going to make his defense stretch for that one as Vandry keeps that one out of the net. And that is going to be an accidental block, cutting out.
Smart.
Good opportunity to get back in. Jit, who has had a phenomenal opening minute.
2 goals.
Seems like he has seen the marker set down by Sharif and says, you know what, you ain't nothing.
Yeah, he's like, wait till I get on the pitch, yeah. What I do really like of what I'm seeing from In Bloom, they are utilizing the space available to them very well. They know what's in front of them. They know what they can and can't do with the ball. Yeah, they didn't win that challenge, but they see the space and they're willing to use it. They don't rush a play, and I really like that.
Perma tried to go for the shot. In Bloom just happy to slow down the pace at this point. They recognize they've got the 3-goal lead. They haven't really got to do too much more. We usually say 1 or 2 definitely is not safe in threes, but if you drop a 3-goal lead, you definitely did something wrong.
Golden number a lot of times. 3-goal lead is a safe margin to say the least.
You say 2 goals to the cushion, 3 goals, that's a blanket.
Yeah.
It's going to go far, but Perma should be able to get there in time. They need a lot more power if they want to get that one through, and then it's going to be another great challenge. Perma can get himself up there. 2 goals for him, 2 goals for his teammate, 0 goals on the side of Mercury Bloom.
And Mercury Pencils.
Mercury Pencils, I'm
baited.
See, I'm trying to take it to the next level right now. We've seen a lot of teams out there, they're naming themselves as a mixture between the 2 names. I'm trying to merge teams.
To merge teams. You would want the Universal Open closed qualifier hyper team.
Oh, chaos tournaments coming our way. It's going to be a good shot, but Vandry couldn't get across the ball enough to take
We should try some chaos in Stadium when it comes out.
Try everything on Stadium, trust me. That's going to be him trying to go the entire length. I tell you what, that might have way more success than we do on Stadium.
It really might. It's a clean air dribble. It's just like they give the space to him, and the best part is he reads the defenders clear all the way home. He gets that last touch. He says, "Yep, it's going out to the left." He just cruises into the left-hand side, smashes it right home. This is textbook from In Bloom.
In Bloom have just been setting themselves up for success. I believe they would have been put down here by FlyQuest, so a loss there would not be surprising, as good as In Bloom have looked. Really have just looked at both of these teams and just gone, you know what, it makes sense that you might have lost that previous round. That would have been back in the upper bracket, round 2. Vandry just trying to open up the scoring for his team, but Jit won't even let that happen. And there is sort of like a block that begins to happen the longer you go without scoring. It happens in 3s. It's even worse in 2s because you should be scoring more often.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. And the crazy part is they don't even look like they're trying. It's like Vandry and Deck just... They're being bent to the will of Jit and Perma. It's like, you don't have a choice but to do exactly what I want you to do.
And we just saw Mercury Pencils on stream yesterday. They weren't playing at this level of speed. They've been forced into a pace that they have looked uncomfortable with at this point in time.
Well, if you remember yesterday when they played Corellia and Verbluten, they got boxed into their own half quite a bit, but they were able to hold out a lot against the offense. They had to make a ton of saves yesterday, and they really put the defense to the test. And this time around, it's just the defense is not holding up. Look at this touch from Perma.
Well, this has become a midfield battle, and it's a very one-sided battle at this point in time. 6 goals to nothing. And that is just a sublime shot. As pretty as they come, In Bloom. I think the only thing that they care about that's pretty is that scoreline right there.
6-0. Devastating game 1. How do you even bounce back? It's like, what?
You pretend it didn't happen. That's all.
That's the only thing you
can
can do.
Say.
It's like if you're Mercury Pencils, you're like,
oh, this could be that best opportunity for a goal, and they finally got one on the boards.
And you know what it took? The biggest defensive blunder you could hope for. The teammate bump, and then again, and then Deck says, hang on, one more for good measure.
That's actually a pretty good bump from Deck.
The adjustment from Deck at the end was perfect, but the first 2 big misplays by Jit and Perma.
Well, Mercury trying to find some sort of momentum to go on their side, but it's got to be said, this first game
destruction
has been a confidence killer for them. Jit wants to try and add one more to the scoreline. The potential to make the scoreline just look that little bit more respectable, as Jit will not allow that ball to go into the back of the net. One more opportunity. Flicked up. They're both are in the corner. That will not leave any options to shoot. That's going to be Jit trying to pad the scoreline a little bit more. And he's going to pass it straight off. What a great guy. Perma, I don't really think he needed more goals. That's his 5th of the game.
Yeah.
But 7-1 In Bloom. Looking like they could be in the next round.
I mean, you keep that up. The best part is that it was just so... It was so textbook.
It wasn't so comfortable.
The craziest goal in that game was that air dribble by Perma. Other than that, it was just, we've got space, we're going to use it, we're going to challenge the ball well, we're going to play the ball well on defense, we're going to clear it to space and chase it down, we've got control of the boost, and then we're going to win the game.
Onset, I want to pass this over to you. If you were playing in this team right now, and that had just happened to you, I mean, I know you've never lost a game in your life, so we're putting you into new territory here. If you were in this position,
you're asking me to say something that's never happened, but I mean, what can you do? I mean, again, it's one of those situations we can sit here and kind of pick apart what's happened and, you know, what they could do differently, but at the same time, I think you just have to give all of the credit to In Bloom here. I mean, I think they're outclassing their opponents, and we could joke about it, and we could say to, you know, Mercury Pencils, maybe try again in a month's time or so, because it does seem like there's just a gulf between these 2 teams at the moment.
Now, the good news for them is that it can't start any worse. That game was over within 18 seconds.
It's very true, yeah.
3 goals before 18 seconds had even gone through. So for Mercury, they can sort of like chalk that off as a one-off game. You know, they have
That is true.
It is possible for them to do that. But if another goal goes in early for In Bloom this upcoming game, it's just going to come reeling straight back, and they'll go straight back into the same state.
Yeah, I feel that they just, again, we have to talk about small wins. You have to start from somewhere, don't you? Again, we talked about how important a first goal can be in a game just for momentum. Maybe they just got to get that first goal on the board, just install a little bit more belief back into their play. But it is going to be tough. I mean, we can paint it all the colours in the world, but at the end of the day, you know, it was a bit of a stomping in the first game, 7-1. It's going to be difficult for them. However, I believe in them. I believe in them, and I'm sure there's some people at home who are with me as well, because we like just, you know, disagreeing with everyone else. But
well,
anyway, it's going to be tough, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think if they can't at least get the first goal, what you would like to see out of Mercury Pencils is they at least lock down the first minute. That's all you can ask for. Keep the first 60 seconds under wraps, at least go a little back and forth. You don't have to try anything crazy and generate a massive chance. Just keep the scoreboard at 0-0, and then you can really settle into game 2.
Well, hopefully they can do that. Hopefully they can settle down a little bit more. We're into game 2. Once again,
how about it? How about it? Never mind. Forget all that.
Jeeves. There we go. That's what they needed, gentlemen.
It's like we can't get the game thrown over to us without a goal being immediately scored. But for Mercury Pencils, that is perfect. That is the start they needed. It didn't have to be great. It just had to be a goal. And to get it almost as quickly as their opponents did last game, that's huge. The question now becomes...
Now you just lock down the first minute.
I think from what we saw earlier on, that early goal, never enough. You have to keep playing this one, but at least they're not over and done within... I mean, by this point, like
they were
right
down
here,
by 3.
The game was over. So this is already more of a match.
Yeah, but you definitely do not want to concede an equalizer quickly. You'd like to see them hold on to this for a little bit and start to really feel far more confident in their ability to match up between these two guys. As Perma around the corner, pass to middle, denied.
Vandry. I see Deck come in and take the ball. Now it's going to be up to Vandry, who manages to use his opponent's card just to ricochet the ball up a bit higher. It was a good challenge, but Vandry was already taking himself out of the play. Well, I'd like to have seen him commit to that challenge because that was a terrible ball played by Perma. Straight into his body. And now he's just hounding away at them from behind, but on very little boost.
Real awkward setup here for Perma and Jit. They don't have a lot of boost. Deck and Vandry really limiting a lot more of the options they have.
There's a lot of balls being hit by this blue team that really don't seem like they were meant to go anywhere. Another one played over to the corner.
They just don't have boost. They can't get set. Perma missing that one too.
Whoa, this could be number 2. Straight across the middle. Oh. And Mercury have turned the tables.
I thought that extra touch right there might have taken this ball away here from Deck. Turns out just enough. Vandry doesn't panic. Still puts the ball on target. But man, the difference maker right now is Deck and Vandry. They are definitely winning the boost game.
Certainly are, and this is the first time we've seen In Bloom in defense, and they have not looked solid at all. Very panicked.
Agreed.
Touching that, like, if you're low boost, control the ball at the very least. Force that challenge. And buy yourself some more time rather than just trying to hit and then find another way of getting back. Some level of boost. That is a poor infield pass, but Perma can take it away. Now he's going to keep following up. One boost on him.
Oh, he had a choice to make. As that ball was rolling up the sidewall, I went to his player cam to see how much boost he had. He had 0. He could have just left that ball, went and grabbed the boost, and now he's got to waste more time and give a free chance here to Vandry and Deck.
Vandry tries to go through. He does win the challenge. Perma is out for the time being. Just has to beat the man, and he has managed to do so. 3-0. And all of the good work from In Bloom from the last game has disappeared.
Dripped. I don't know if you agree with me, Shogun. I honest to God think that goal goes all the way back to them getting a little bit too greedy for the ball. Because they had to give it away anyway. And then they didn't have boost to really get set in position on defense.
There's a lot of time, especially in twos, where you're in no-win situations. You've just got to lose it in the best way possible, if that makes some sort of sense.
Yep.
You've got to do it without causing too much havoc for your teammate. And in Bloom, they're trying to be heroes all the time. And it's just causing more and more problems for them. Maybe the last win being as good as it was has made them too overconfident. Maybe they're insulted by the idea that this game is going so far against them. Because they're trying to play this game as if they're 5 goals up. They are not 5 goals up.
No, they are not. It's kind of, it's the reality check game right now for Perma and Jit. I was honestly expecting them to just come out here and wash, rinse, and repeat game number 1. And it's good to see.
It's a good challenge there from Jit.
It's just good to see that that won't be the case. But I do think Perma and Jit think they've finally managed to settle themselves in. Oh, that would have been nutty. And as I, of course, said that, I was about to be proven wrong.
I mean, the main thing to take out that last game is it wasn't really the way a typical game of Rocket League goes. You don't see games done that quickly. As Deck, he's backwards for the save. Can make life so difficult at times. but he comes out phenomenal. Puts that one straight into the crossbar. Now Mercury holding on to their clean sheet.
One-on-one. Oh, he got caught moving forward. Oh, Perma. One slight misstep and instantly punished.
In Bloom, they've just not managed this game correctly at all. Constantly a step too far forward. They don't really respect what Mercury Pencils can put forward on the offense. And
I mean,
take a step or two forwards.
Would you? You just 6-1'd him.
I'm always very concerned about my inconsistency.
I didn't know you could do that, Trevor.
What, be concerned or inconsistent?
Yes.
Well, either way, Mercury Pencils are well on their way to achieve at least one thing that In Bloom did not in game number 1, which is keep that clean sheet.
Oh, what a bump.
After a game where you've had 7 scored against you. To take that average down to 3.5, well, still quite high, but
still quite high.
It's definitely not as bad as 7. There's some more bumping in the midfield, but Vandry corrects himself just quickly enough. Midfield boost taken. I don't think Vandry's got anything to keep that ball going. And now, his team has been taken out. Vandry gets another boost stolen from him.
Oh, that's
In Bloom, they've got
bump.
to score off this. They've got nothing on the side of the orange team. And finally get broken down.
And I think they, well, obviously they really needed that one. But in the manner that they scored it is what I was really impressed with. It was pressure. They realized it was a strong chance. And they followed it through to its conclusion for good or ill. A great heads-up play in front of the net to ram that last defender out.
There's a level of discipline that was maybe needed a minute and a half ago.
Yeah.
Where they recognize, okay, these guys can defend. Let's take our time. Let's starve them out.
But I just think it was good because that was an earned goal. That wasn't something where Vandry and Deck were like, let's go do a silly double commit and get beat like this one. And that was something they had to work for. And, you know, they know they're going to lose this game, but I think they take that goal and say, all right, we know we're capable of that. Game number 3 is going to be a much different story.
Such a Rocket League moment right there. We've just seen a goal where it took boost steals across the entire right-hand side of the pitch. You don't allow anything to go past you. You've starved out your opponents, and you've left it in a situation where they can do nothing to defend. And then the other team just
And then the other team just scores.
Go straight down the middle. Deck will turn into his own net. Might as well speed up the process.
Why not? Why not? There's one for charity. How's that? No mercy on himself. He knows they made a mistake. He says, here, allow me, Jit. I've got this one.
I think they just want those few extra split seconds to get one back. If you score in your own net quicker, if it's already guaranteed, you get that little extra second or so to score another one. And they're going to try and go for it.
They might get it. Oh, my goodness.
Just scoops that one into the air.
And Perma, not a gentleman, denies it at the last second. But Mercury Pencils, that is a much-needed victory in Game 2, and in brilliant fashion,
That one was like an underarm throw to end us right there.
The softball pitch.
Yeah, softball pitch, but
Slow
you
pitch.
Released way too late.
Slow pitch softball.
Does that still, if it lands in the right area, can I just launch it into the air?
I mean, sure.
Actually,
in slow pitch, yes.
Okay.
I'm genuinely at a loss. I did not expect that. I have to be honest with the way that In Bloom performed in that first game, you know, the way that they won as well. Maybe some overconfidence going in, and that cost them because they went down pretty early in that second.
Well, it's the first time we've seen it, not only this week, but last week as well, where we've seen a team get just destroyed in Game 1. And they've come back and destroyed back in Game 2. I've never seen such a spread of results. I'm not even going to say during the Universal, across my entire career, I've never seen such a difference between Game 1 and Game 2.
Do you feel, Chiefs, that it might be a case of overconfidence? You come off the back of a result like that in Game 1 and maybe you go into Game 2 and you take your foot off the gas a little bit, or do you have to give more credit to Mercury Pencils than maybe, you know, I am giving them?
I feel Mercury Pencils earned the respect that they were due in Game number 2. I don't think it was a case of In Bloom taking their foot off the gas. I think it was a combination of, okay, Game 2 started off poorly with the kickoff goal, much in the same manner as Game number 1. And then after that, Mercury Pencils really took it to them. Again, it all goes back to that boost control, forcing the opposition to do what you want simply because they have to do it. They don't have the boost to do whatever they want. And I think Mercury Pencils did an excellent job of controlling the pitch in this game.
So, Game 3.
I ain't got a clue.
You knew exactly.
Overtime, 1 goal. There we are. There's the prediction.
Shogun's beating me to it. But, I mean, it's so difficult to predict the series. Like you've said, like None of us here on the
Let's
desk
play a
would have
best of three.
predicted that would have happened. But
No.
talking of Game 3, it's time for Game 3, gentlemen, isn't it? So should we get into Game 3?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get
Do
into
we
Game
score in the first 5 seconds?
For my prediction to be correct, I hope not. I need 0 goals for 5 minutes plus.
All right.
So I'm holding out hope. This is going to be Deck by himself. Good save. That's 10 seconds down. I'm much closer to my prediction being correct.
Well done. You've made it through a small portion of it.
Deck takes the ball by himself. That's not going to be doing too much, but he has got a bump. Perma's
Oh my
really
goodness,
struggling.
what a play!
And my prediction's wrong.
That might be assist of the day right there.
That should be assist of the day right there. Wrecking
Bam,
ball.
bam.
It's like the most graceful wrecking ball I've ever seen in my entire life.
It was more the decision to turn into a wrecking ball. You know, it's like, I'm a beautiful ballerina, and now I'm going to smash your face.
That was incredible, that play forward. Now Perma. And Jit. It's just... It's gone against
does
him
it go
so
right
quickly,
back?
and that's off
Oh.
the post!
That one cuts deep if you're Perma and Jit.
They were just playing so well in game 1, and now nothing is going for them. Straight back out. Oh, double tap. I don't think, as close as that one went to net, he really wanted any of that one. Now Vandry come out the challenge well.
Ooh, that was scary. Vandry wanted the demo. Didn't even care about the ball.
It's going to be a low boost on Perma as well, because Vandry did take the corner. And he's missed the
Missed
other
it.
corner as well.
Now
Deck,
they gotta back out.
pass into the middle. Touch there from Vandry. Won't be great. It's going to offer plenty of time for Jit to try and get back, but the bump does help out Mercury Pencils.
I like that play from Perma there. He saw Jit get bumped and he said, I need to buy a little extra time. Took it on an attempted air dribble, just bought that little bit of extra space for him to work with on defense.
Chance there for Perma. He's beat to the ball. Now Deck against Jit, and Deck has actually smashed himself into Jit. Follow-up shot.
Oh, man.
Should have put it off the backboard. Vandry was around. He was going to be there for the follow-up, and they had one person to beat.
Tough one. Perhaps a little greedy. I feel like if you went off the backboard, it gives the defense a chance to make that save, and it really is, you know, a million different ways to skin a cat. This one out in front, Jit on the dribble.
Vandry with the block. Perma takes over off the backboard. Saved again. In bloom, trying to find a way back into this game. Only a goal down. And for the first time in this entire series, we have not seen a goal followed up by a complete romping up of the scoreline. It's the first truly close game we've had.
Yeah. 1-0's looking pretty good, Sugar.
I should not have added the overtime. I've overcommitted.
Well,
I've overstretched on this prediction.
We can spot you the overtime. We will still consider you correct. Or at least I will.
You will. I'm not too sure Onset will.
won't. Onset won't, but
wait,
I will.
I know the Brits, okay? There's no way I'm allowed that. Jit takes his time. He goes for net, and he's gonna get
You're
it.
wrong, buddy. You're wrong.
Well, that feels bad, man, but it feels great for In Bloom.
Feels great is right, and actually, I think Perma might have caught a little piece of Deck there, so he couldn't cut in as soon as he wanted. And then Vandry just caught in that near post position, facing the wrong direction. Almost no chance to cover that far post. Well-placed ball.
1 goal apiece. Perma taking the ball for himself. He's got 0 boost. He's got a dream. Unfortunately, that dream was not as strong as the car of Vandry. Passing option is there. And it's just enough to try and stretch open the defense off the backboard.
Oh,
Deck has gone. I mean, Jet has gone, but Perma takes the ball for himself.
big bump there from Deck on Perma. Otherwise, that was a fast break waiting to happen.
Up on the wall. There's no contact made. And Deck, I'm not too sure he's got boost on him. Got enough, but the back boost has been stolen.
He's got 70 on him. He picked it up.
Big bump. Perma was already leaving, though. And to be honest, I still think that was the correct decision. Even despite the bump, it looked like Perma would have been beat to the ball.
Yeah. Oh, 1-on-2.
All the way back. Deck is just
Nice.
going headhunting. He's found it. And now the flick too easily read. Perma pre-jumping the save. Minute and 20. The closest match of the series, and the match that puts someone up to series point.
Oh, hello.
Good block. Vandry has to do well. Jit waiting to see if a mistake will be made. And Vandry's just going to go the entire left. It's so dangerous. Perma was just a good block away from setting himself up for a goal.
Ooh, almost
Mercury.
a breakdown.
They couldn't have been forced further back. The pressure from In Bloom is suffocating.
No, I think they talked themselves into each other. They saw themselves both go on that back wall, and they said, hang on, do you have it? And I think it slowed them down enough.
Jit. Oh, the big
clear.
block. Vandry has loosened the grip of In Bloom. Now going to try and go for a block. He's got it. To the middle. It's a race for the ball. Vandry comes out better, and Jit committed pretty hard.
Oh, love that idea from Vandry. Just trying to get that quick cut into the middle, and still, Perma and Jit definitely forcing Vandry and Deck to play a lot of defense, but we saw this from them plenty yesterday. They spent well over 2.5, maybe even 3 minutes on defense, and they still hung out against Corelli and Verbluten yesterday, so I don't think this is bad for them.
It's definitely an area they've done well previously. Jit. Watch, you can see how trustworthy Vandry was towards Deck.
Not good enough.
Yep, 2 little boosts on Deck for him to loft the ball over Perma.
Oh,
that's going to be a shot attempt, but it will drop to the floor. I got the overtime right. I did not get the scoreline right.
Real close, real close.
I believe it gets me a C mark, which over here is still a passing grade. Now it's going to be Perma. He wants to pass absolutely everybody. 9 seconds is all it took. And In Bloom have gone up to match point.
That, call me crazy, Shogun, that actually might be the dagger.
I'm not
Before game
sure.
3, because here's my reasoning. It's purely a mental thing. Because you played a not so good game number 1. You played a really good game number 2. And I think everyone on both teams kind of knew game number 3 is going to be much tighter. And you play a really good...
Don't make my mistake. Chief, don't make my mistake. I just tried to predict something, and it didn't go well.
Please don't make that mistake. Speaking of predictions, I mean, you didn't get anything right, Shogun, as usual.
However,
Perma gets everything right in OT with that beautiful air dribble. I mean, what a way to win the game. And what was an incredibly tight affair, a completely different game to what we saw in game 1 and 2. It seemed like both teams had felt each other out.
Yeah, I mean, you really hope to see that same level of competition in game number 4, obviously.
That is just fantastic from Deck. You just have to applaud some of the goals that we saw. We saw less goals. It seems like we went for quality over quantity.
Yeah, for sure.
This time around. I mean, that's probably the weakest of the ones that we saw. However, immediately made up for by just this thing of beauty from Perma. If you're going to win a game, that's how you win a game.
And the thing that really hurts is that it happened so quickly into overtime. It's so strange to play such a tight game number 3 and be so back and forth or be so boxed in but not out of control, and then just to lose it like that is a kind of odd, slightly frustrating feeling, and I want to see how they react here going into game 4.
Yeah, I mean, game 4, I mean, we thought game 3 was going to be difficult to predict, but game 4, I like what you said towards the end there. When we talk about momentum in a series, and when it's tied up that early and you do lose in overtime, when the series is tied up, now they have to win 2 on the bounce, whereas, of course, in Bloom, they just need this one more game. And that does start to play on your mind a little bit. You're thinking, I can't make any extra mistakes that I might get away with. Now it's all or nothing, pretty much, for these guys. Otherwise, they're crashing out. In Bloom, just one more game away. And, I mean, gentlemen, game 4 is underway. Shogi achieves. Do what you do best.
Thank you very much, my dude. And there's going to be Vandry almost setting up. Deck is already moving himself out. Straight across the line, and Jit with the save. There's some good points made. The last game was the first time that individual mistakes became as costly. In large games, it can get so much worse, but In Bloom has made Mercury Pencil's situation so much worse. That goal is going to be crucial.
Man, that's just a snapshot decision from Perma. He's got a choice there. He steals the boost, and he says, I can either rotate back and play this safe, or I can just try and put this one into the back of the net. And, you put a little bit of faith in yourself to make a play like that, and sometimes it works out. That's a brilliant shot.
Oh, double demo. But you are correct. There's a lot of teams that we've seen who get to a certain level in Rocket League. I look to Set to Destroy as my best example of this, where you can get to a certain level hoping your opponents make mistakes. And if you play solid, you can get there, but you put a cap on yourself. You can't go any further than that level. If you put the eggs in your basket, you're going to take some losses here and there, but you can let yourself get into these games. And Mercury Pencils have got themselves back into this game. Great block there from Deck.
Yeah, just a super aggressive challenge out of the midfield before In Bloom had a chance to rotate back on defense. And again, justly punished, as you might think. And we're back to 1-1. I kind of expect a similar game 4.
Jit
Oh.
Tries to go for the double tap. He got contact. Unfortunately, he
Perma
didn't get
wants
the
the same
follow-up
thing.
explosion. Now Deck to the other side of the field. Jit takes the boost. He's taking his time. It's actually very awkward to defend from this position.
Well done.
And that's going to be a good tap across, and
And a
Jit
score.
has got it into the net. 2 goals to 1. It's a goal fiesta.
It's a perfect touch from Perma. I mean, you were saying not an easy position to defend. How about not an easy position to defend and get the pass out to your teammate? You could see Vandry and Deck. They weren't sure how good that touch was going to be. They were willing to take that risk and play really far forward, and they got beat.
I might send a message to both of these teams, because whenever we've seen teams commit too forward and be really aggressive, they've been caught out for it. Perma off the backboard. He's not got the boost for the double tap. Jit. You can see how safe he actually played that one. He wants to play it out rather than going straight for the shot.
Not a good touch.
And there's the follow. 3 goals to 1. In Bloom have got the cushion.
And this one is advantage of position all the way. Vandry got caught jumping at that first one. Deck needs to get this one across the pitch. Give Vandry some space, some field of view to get a sense of context for the field. And Perma and Jit are just waiting there in the midfield like, I mean, you put it off the ceiling? Sure, I'll put it in, thanks.
Yeah, as soon as Deck had that contact, Vandry was on 0 boost. Over on that midline, he had no option, especially when what's coming towards you is an aerial. You can't really get over to that without any boost at all. Jit taking the ball for himself, flicks that ball upright, and then there's Perma. That 4th goal could very well have been the end of this game. Mercury Pencils. I mean, you'd say you want them to slow down the bleeding, but quite frankly, they haven't got any time for that. They need to keep up the goal-scoring spree on both sides. But Perma is a midfield option in Bloom, just thinking a couple of steps ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Perma and Jit are saying, oh, this is a clear, and Deck and Vandry are saying this is going to be a chance off this pass off the back wall, and they just fail to consider the possibility that maybe this ball gets cleared down the field.
I did not know your voice could go that high.
Oh, it goes higher. Just not on broadcast.
You know what? Let's not test that
Just
today.
not on broadcast.
Let's definitely not test that. Vandry with the shot. Mercury Pencils have got a way back in. Remember, they must win this game.
Absolutely must win. And Deck doesn't come out on top. Perma gave him the respect, though, and Perma respecting that touch actually is what just opens the door for Vandry. Again, super aggressive from Vandry and Deck. He has the option to wait for that touch from his teammate, and then subsequently the touch from Perma. Neither of them happen, and because he's decided to put all his eggs in this hard push forward, gets rewarded for it.
Mercury Pencils consistently trying to use that backboard to their advantage. It's going to be Deck, straight back down. Vandry, he's not got any contact. That should be cleared by Perma. He can go for it. He's 2v1. Deck has got to try and cover because Jit is there, but the shot is saved.
Oh, tough shot.
Oh, well,
he almost
read
got
by
it.
Perma. That would have been the assist of the day, and it wouldn't have even been his fault. This will be set back up, and the Chiefs.
Wow.
We have got ourselves a real match.
Now, what I really like about this play is Vandry gets right in the way of Jit. Oh, no, he doesn't. I thought he might have clipped him, or at least boxed him out and stopped him from getting high on that pass. Never mind. Pure mechanical misplay from Jit on that back wall there.
In Bloom have got to calm this game down as quickly as possible. Mercury Pencils starting to fire on all cylinders. Deck, very loose ball played by him. It's going to go over to Vandry. Not going to have a double tap as an option, but Perma over to Deck again, whose contact is not great at all. It's going to offer an option for In Bloom, but they've got it in front of each other's way. Everybody out of position, which means that nobody can capitalize.
I thought they just pool shotted him into the goal there.
That would have been atrocious. That have felt so bad. Looking for the bumps. Vandry, he's got the shot!
Whoa,
saved by Perma. Deck just keeps looking for these bump attempts, and they keep working out. Vandry, he's up in a race. Picks up the boost, but the pass is out to Jit. Can he get the shot? No! Off the post.
Vandry
what a minute and a half this has been.
They stick to their guns. Every time they go on offense, they send it all forward.
Oh, no!
Oh, and he doesn't have the boost. He's going to own goal it. No! Really? Oh.
I mean, you can see the contact from Jit. It's going to be...
That's just panic. He's like, I have to get this ball up off the back wall and clear it, and just,
You want to know how much this means to these guys? That right there.
You get pressured into doing that.
No other
Man.
situation. If $100,000 was not on the line, no way does he make that mistake. And now, in Bloom, after it started to look like maybe the game was starting to turn against them, they have got a 2-goal lead re-established, but it might not last very long. Jit, just there in time. I can't believe he was able to read that play.
Another chance.
Jit once again. Burma, you owe that man quite a bit for some of these defensive moves that he's been making. Bad touch. Jit, he's looking at it. He's gone for the
he
shot.
hesitated. Hesitation for Mercury Pencils here. Not a good touch from Vandry. Lands a little slow. Does he have boost? That's the question. No, he didn't have boost. He wasn't slow because he wanted to be. He was slow because he had to be.
Ah, Mercury Pencils. The architects of their own downfall so far.
Absolutely agreed. But, I mean, credit where it's due. They had a game plan in mind for this, and they've stuck to it 100%. Unfortunately, this time it just didn't pan out.
It was a phenomenal game, too, for them. However, it looks like this is where the run cut short. Absolutely great lower bracket run from Mercury Pencils. They're going to go for the own goal. It's not in.
How the heck
that's a
did
great
In Bloom
tournament.
lose day one? How? How did In Blues lose day one?
FlyQuest.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you for putting that into perspective. Thank you.
That is exactly how they lost. But, I mean, I
Because I
feel
was just going to be like, what?
Yeah, I feel really bad for Mercury Pencils there because there was a crazy minute and a half in the middle of that game where it was back and forth and we didn't know who was going to win. And then, unfortunately, we had a moment that we probably shouldn't talk about, but we have to talk about, unfortunately. If you want an example of what tournament pressure can do to players, this is going to be exactly it.
It was a great game, let's be honest.
It was.
Every game we've had so far, it was probably the best one we've had. I mean, it was a great start once again from In Bloom. Early goals was the meal of the day, it seems, from both these teams, but this was all down to pressure. We can't really criticize or analyze the Rocket League that we see in front of us here. This was just nerves, adrenaline, and heart making the decisions rather than the brain, for the most part, and well, In Bloom came out the better for it.
Yeah, sometimes the nerves, heart, and adrenaline don't do your brain the bestest of favors. But
I mean, this was, look at the comeback we started seeing. Mercury Pencils.
It was awesome.
4-1 down. Some great setup play. And
a couple of really great chances after that. And like you said, the only thing that got him out of it.
This is it, though. This moment here, I mean, you can almost pinpoint the moment that Deck's heart broke.
And it's like you could feel, it's like, because you know when you're in that situation and you hear the boost of the opposition's player in that left ear cup, and you're just like, I have to go now, I have to do something. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work out. And even then, after that, they still didn't give up. They pushed onto the opposition side. They tried really, really hard. And like you said, Jit and Perma had to make some huge defensive efforts to keep those other chances out and really lock that game down. So, In Bloom, please shock the world tomorrow. I would love to see that.
Well, that's true. They are going to be here tomorrow, and they continue their fight for one of those regional spots. But what is good news, we only had 3 games tonight, but they all provided an incredible amount of goals. Gentlemen, we had 78 goals
in 3 games.
Scored in 3 games today. And thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent, that translates into 780 meals to be provided to the World Food Programme over in the USA. So a fantastic cause, of course. If you want to get involved, head over to WFPUSA.org/Universal Open. I mean, 78 goals in 3 games.
Who?
Are you
Who were the people that
entertained?
didn't turn up? We would have. I almost guarantee we would have hit 100 if we got that 4th game.
Probably, yeah. I think so. We actually might have.
Well, speaking of some big plays that we had today, we've obviously had a lot of goals, but it's very difficult to score goals without assists sometimes. So our State Farm assist of the day is about to be coming up, gentlemen. Let's quickly, before it rolls. Oh, it's going to roll first. Don't worry about it.
It's got to be from the third match. It's got to be from the third match. There's no way Sharif gets an assist of the day from Coleman. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, okay.
Here it is. Then.
Oh, it's the double bump. Yes.
Yeah, it's the one that we called for. It can be nothing else. If you're Vandry, you're looking at just going,
why, thank you.
If I miss this,
I will feel
my
so
teammate
bad.
is quitting on me right here and there.
Yeah, basically the human wrecking ball through the middle there. I think you put it beautifully. It was the ballerina who turns into kicking people in the face. It's as simple as that, and that's exactly what he did. That was your State Farm assist of the day, and well deserved as well, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that assists of the day seem to. Have you ever noticed this, Shogun? Because I know you play a lot more Rocket League. No offense on set, but when you do the really awesome stuff in game, you always lose that game.
Yes.
And that hurts.
See, I've set up a rule now, which is it doesn't count unless you win.
Ooh, ouch.
Which means that none of my good goals count anymore.
Totally counts. Totally counts.
You save the replay.
Have you ever watched the montage? I don't think if you make a montage, you don't try and win games.
But you always cut out the
magic.
scoreboard.
You always cut out the scoreboard.
Exactly. Because
they lose.
Montage. Well, now that today is over, the second day, of course, let's have a brisk bracket update and get you guys ready at home for what is going to be a fantastic day number 3 coming up. We're going to get our qualifiers tomorrow, and these are the teams that we have left. Just 4 spots left to fill. As you can see on the right-hand side there, we have Word still left in the competition. Hotcat E-Games will be taking them on. FlyQuest taking on Ghost Station, and then waiting for the losers of those 2 games, fighting out for a spot. First in Flight and in Bloom. 2 horrible teams you don't want to be going up against right now.
I'm just sitting here like grinning.
Horrible wins in like not horrible.
Yeah,
they're not nasty people. They're playing well.
I'm grinning at the prospect of tomorrow because it's so many teams like Hotcat E-Games. It's like First in Flight had such a turnaround from day 1. In Bloom came out here, blew me away. I really want to see what Hotcat does tomorrow. I have no clue.
They've come into that game that they've got to get against Word tomorrow. They have had every single game they've had so far go to game 5. Not a single convincing win. They've got to take on the most difficult team in the tournament.
It's just Fireburner and Torment.
I was just about to say, you know exactly what it means, don't you?
Yeah.
When someone's game 5, 3-0. Yeah. No, we're only joking. Of course it won't be. But we always want to hear from you guys at home. And thank you to everyone who has used the hashtag and got in touch so far. Use the hashtag UOS2 to get involved with the conversation. We want to hear from you guys at home. We're excited for tomorrow. We want to know if you guys are excited as well. And let us know who you think out of the 6 teams we have remaining will be your 4 qualifiers. But gentlemen, it's time to thank you once again. Are you going to come back tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I can't miss it.
They're coming back.
Fantastic.
I haven't sent them home yet. They're going to keep coming back. It's fine, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, it's been a fantastic day. Unfortunately, we had to send some teams home today. But tomorrow is all about sending teams through to qualification to the regionals. We hope to see you there. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, yes.
So, State Farm will be here to help protect our home.
Of course.
What about here?
Yep.
Here? Mm-hmm. Here?
Feels a little awkward.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.